Mm.
We are um we're live here today with the lovely, the beautiful, the talented Morgan Booth. Morgan is a pop surrealist artist in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. You can find her work at Morgan Booth Art on Instagram. I do have a link in the description, so you can click that link. We're not actually going to be showing any of her work because I want you to go and look at it. You can kind of see some of her work in the background, but I really want everyone to like go and look at her work and follow her and find her on the social meteors and yeah, enjoy her incredible hard work. How are you doing today, Morgan?
I am good. I am good.
Awesome.
It's been a packed morning and stenciling all morning, which is sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't. So it's been a little bit of a challenging studio morning, to be honest. How are you today?
Oh, it's been crazy. I've already been to the dump to throw in a bunch of garbage and yeah, doing all sorts of things that aren't related at all. So yeah, because it's 10 a.m. here. We kind of dropped the kids off late to school and yeah, just kind of going slow this morning. But yeah, so for people who don't know how Canada works, we're both in Canada, but we might as well be countries apart
Yeah,
because I'm on the western side and you're somewhere in it's the middle, but it's the
yeah,
East Coast. Like it's so far, we're so far away.
yeah. I'm based in Toronto,
Yeah.
and you're Red Deer, right?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
in Red Deer. Yeah, so it's very different places. I was in BC forever, and then moving here, I found like, wow, this is super different.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so yeah, we're in the same country, but different provinces. So
Oh,
kind of like um, I think for Americans, the easiest way to relate it is I'm in Montana and you're closer to New York City. You're like 12 hours away from New York, right? Yeah. I know. I lived in Ontario for a little while. Um, and I always wanted to go to New York. Have you been there?
yeah. I
Yeah.
went. Um, I
Nice.
went a couple years ago for I was showing with Spoke Art for their Wes Anderson
Oh,
show,
cool. Nice.
and got an opportunity to go and hang out for the weekend, which was super cool. And I'd been a
Mm.
couple years before coordinating some events back in my previous life. Or yes, I still have some current life in it, but I was an arts
Yeah.
event producer.
Cool.
But
That's
yeah,
cool.
going through whirlwind every time I've gone. I feel like I haven't gotten to like actually really experience the city that much, and I don't know how you could in a weekend. You know what I mean?
No, how do you do that? Like New York is from what I can gather, it's 3 days of just like driving in.
Yeah.
Right? Like I remember Toronto. I grew up in Vancouver, so I'm used to bigger cities, but like going to Toronto, I was like, this is Vancouver on steroids, right? Like you just drive and it's insane. Like I remember being in a traffic jam at 2 a.m in the middle of downtown Toronto and and it feels like it's full daylight because
Everything's
you're
yeah.
yeah, it's totally lit up. So uh very different than rural Alberta. Oh my gosh. In a lot of ways it's been a bit of a culture shock.
Mhm.
Because you think it's gonna be so much the same and it's just not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every place that I've lived in Canada has been like that though, where you're like, oh yeah, we're all Canadians and we're all pretty much this when we're not. It's very different.
What do you think the biggest difference is for you between Vancouver and Red Deer? And
The
how long have you been
biggest
in Red Deer
difference?
since you?
3 years.
Yeah.
So we've been here 3 years, and at first it didn't seem that different.
Hmm.
I think it's been over the stretch of time when you really get to know a place where you're like, oh wow, okay. were super different. Um, when I was growing up, I remember you go to school, there was like maybe one white kid in our in our school.
Mhm.
Not to like get into racism too much, but like it just wasn't there wasn't that many um there just wasn't that many people that were um Caucasian in anywhere in my experience in Vancouver. And or they were mixed, right? Like a lot of mixed kind of families. And then you go from that to the opposite here. Um it's a very different experience,
Yeah.
and you encounter some things that you didn't realize were still a thing.
Yeah. I have
Um,
the
yeah.
reverse experience. Like I grew up in a
Okay.
small town and then moved to Toronto.
Okay.
So like I had the reverse cultural experience. And I can definitely say a city with diversity is one that I prefer to be in for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird experience. And like, you know, whether you're going from a big city full of people with, and I mean, I don't want to say immigrants don't have racist ideas. Absolutely do. You know, they do. It's like we all can be closed-minded about our people groups. It's just that it's so strange kind of getting that like classic kind of closed-minded squaredness. So I don't know. It's a weird thing.
Mhm.
It's definitely a weird thing. And I'm always the kind of person that I want to believe the best of people. Right? Like, they didn't really mean that, did they? Like, that's not actually what, but yeah. So I think that's definitely the strangest part about, like, this experience. Um, but all in all, I would say most of the people I've interacted with have been great. It's really just, like, young, immature people that you might encounter once in a while that have, like, scrolled too far
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
the bad part of the internet.
Mhm.
Um, so there's definitely that, like but at the same time, there is quite a diverse group of people in the city. Like, so it's strange.
Yeah.
It's super strange. Yeah, there's a huge influx of immigrants just in the last few years here. So I don't know. It's a strange experience, but yeah, just going from that, and then so I grew up in Vancouver, and then I was in Penticton, and the drug thing is so huge there, and people here think their crime is bad, and I'm like, no, 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 sweetheart. You don't know what you're talking about. Like,
Hold my
yeah. And I'm sure your experience in Toronto is similar.
Yeah, like I just stay in my house these days.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I don't
Mhm.
go downtown very much. If I
Mhm.
do, it's to uh, go to like an art opening or a work event
Yeah.
or something like that. So I don't have a lot of exposure to crime and things like that because I'm just such
Mhm.
a freaking homebody. Like I
Yeah.
live at the northern end of the city where there's not very much going on. And I lucked out during the pandemic and was able to like at basement price like rent a house with my
Oh,
husband.
wow.
So we
Yeah.
have both of us have studios here. So I'm in my studio.
Oh.
His wood shop is downstairs, like
Oh,
under
wow.
the studio. So
Huh.
and we're best friends. We don't, and all of my best friends moved away to the States. So
Oh.
I just stay in my house. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I don't, I I think pre-pandemic, I was way more interested in, like, going to events and being around people, um, and then after, I feel like I just became more of a homebody, like, I know a lot of
Mm.
people that kind of happened, uh,
Yeah.
but I just yeah, I I don't know. I don't know if it's a good thing or not, but it's what happens.
Yeah. How do you find that? Do you find it lonely, like when you just work at home and you're kind of in your own little world?
Yeah, I do find it lonely, but it kind of like comes in waves where I'll be like in like hermit turtle mode, like going
Hmm.
hard at my studio practice for like months and months and months and months. And then like a big show will happen and then I'll actually breathe and I'll be like,
Mm,
oh my God, outside exists and people that I know want to see me in person. And then I just
yeah.
like, have to recalibrate and learn how to be a social being again
Mm,
because
hmm.
I have a pretty uh, demanding day job that also I work from home with.
Okay.
And the studio practice is pretty intense. So I go through
Hmm.
like periods of isolation and intense creative work and then come up for
Hmm.
I'm in
I,
I'm in the under part right now. I'm in the
are you in the internal hermit mode?
oh yeah, working.
Yeah, creative gremlin mode.
Mhm.
Do you feel like when it's nice out, you have to like go out and like get some sunshine, or do you like need nature daily or anything like that?
I do think that I need that.
Hmm.
Do I meet those needs? No. Like
No.
I grew up on a lakefront in a small town, so nature
Oh.
was like really, really just such a present part of my life, and I find it really regulating. Uh,
Hmm.
but sometimes I just like forget that outside exists.
Exists.
But
Oh
I
wow.
have a backyard that we like to hang out in a lot, and I'll just go out there and like have my coffee and start my day out there. And we have a blooming plum tree right now, and later in the summer we might have a fox family usually dens down in our backyard, so we see them like frolicking and stuff like that. So I get this like
Aw,
dose of nature in this strange pocket of the city.
so
So
wild.
yeah,
Huh.
yeah.
That's something that
My
does kind of
guess then.
that is kind of remarkable about how some Canadian big cities are built. And I noticed this about Toronto. There are massive green spaces within it. Would
Yeah.
you say that's accurate? Like,
Oh, for sure. Like
yeah.
it's there's 0% city planning, so it's all just sprawl. Um, and
Yeah.
the area that I'm in is on a super busy main street, and then there's a gas station. And I live in a 1950s house that has a big backyard that a condo
Oh,
developer bought with the intention to knock it down. And he bought like the company bought the whole street, and then they knocked down all of the fences between the yards. So our
oh,
yards of like maybe these 5 or 6 houses have become this kind of strange urban green space
oh,
that
cool.
is completely unintentional because they
Huh,
knocked down all the fences to do like soil testing or something. And
huh,
so yeah, we just have
huh.
foxes running all over the place. We have a
Aw,
skeleton in the backyard that is like one of my favorite things to do
yeah.
what's up out there at night.
Well, that's so cool. Like, and that was something that impressed me about everything past the Rockies. Cities are built like that.
Mhm.
Vancouver is not. Like, Vancouver is super, super dense because you've got the mountains on one side, you got the ocean on the other, and then you just have this little trench that you can build in, and there's really not there's not very much room, so everything's super dense. And while you are surrounded by nature, within the city, other than maybe parks, there's not like just wild green spaces.
Yeah.
But I would say Red Deer is like that, where there are built-in like greens. Every neighborhood will
Mhm.
have this little like common wooded green space. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, who has this much land?
Mhm.
Because I was in a place where everything was just at a premium, right? People don't have cars because garages take up too much room, right? Like everything's super dense and vertical. Um, I don't think I think the closest thing to Vancouver is Montreal. Very similar, and I love Montreal.
Me too.
Like after we crossed the prairies, I was like, ah, this is it. This is it. This is I love this.
Mhm.
But yeah, of all the Canadian cities, that's my favorite. Um, yeah, very different. But the foxes are so cool. Like
So
the
cool.
cutest things.
So
Do you
cool.
ever just want to go and like raid their little dens and like keep one?
Uh, they stink. They're so
Do
stink.
they?
Yeah, they're
Okay,
stinky
never mind.
little
I
guys.
take it back.
Yeah, but they're like because they're urban foxes, they're not really afraid of us
Oh,
too
okay.
much, and so they'll like
Oh,
frolic in the yard, and we put like a soccer ball out there sometimes to
aw,
see if they would interact with it, and they'll like be
mhm,
rolling all over it. But yeah,
aw,
it's really fun. We had four kits last year and two parents,
aw,
and yeah, it's just really fun. It's really like magical. It's just such a
definitely.
yeah, I don't know. It's a gift. It's like makes me happy all summer, and I'm hopeful that they come back. But it seems like a possum has taken over their den, so we'll see.
Oh, there
Yeah,
might be a rodent war.
yeah.
You have to battle it out. Certain odds. That's super cool, though.
I feel like
I
I've
love
been
that.
seeing more nature in your work lately. Has the move impacted the direction of your work?
I think so. I think it's also just like time of life too, where you're um yeah, I feel like coming away from BC to a far more peaceful environment. I
Mhm.
didn't realize how um anxious of a place I was in before.
Yeah.
Um for people who don't know, the Okanagan is beautiful, but and people are every time I tell them I moved from there, they're like, "Why?" Well, I mean, between the drug epidemic in BC and the seniors, like we just had ambulances running 24/7. Um, there was so much crime. Every one of my neighbors bought a dog and like security systems and lights, and we're like, no one is wealthy, but it was just to prevent people from breaking in and stealing their vehicles, ransacking their homes. Like there was so
Mhm.
much crime that everyone was just on edge. Um, my neighbor actually, she was walking her kid to school a few blocks away from her house and was walking back one morning and she hears this lady call out to her and she's like, "Watch out." I guess there was a homeless lady with a rock behind a bush that was about to come out and like and this is this town of like 30,000 people. We're not a huge city or anything like that, but
Yeah. So that would be difficult to feel safe there.
it it is, right? And like they'd come from Calgary and she'd been in like big cities and she's like, I've never experienced this before. And you don't realize how much you're on edge, you know, um, all the time until I moved away. And just the quiet was almost unnerving, like it was so quiet. There's no ambulances, there's no cop cars, there's no like it's so quiet, it's so calm where we are because we're a little bit outside of the city. And it was almost it was very healing. And I
Mhm.
and I feel like that just that transition. And I know what you're talking about because I look at my past work from like that 2020 era as very dark and it's very like afraid or anxious, and I feel like I'm able to move away from that now. But I don't know. It's just that's just life, right? You kind of go through these different periods of growth and whatnot. How about you? You feel like I've noticed some other colors other than red and blue in your work, Amy.
Well, for anyone who's not familiar with my work, I always paint blue figures,
Mhm,
most often on a red background. And it's a really established aesthetic for me. And
mhm,
I really enjoy working in a set of parameters and then
mhm,
pushing within those. Like, how many different ways can you rearrange a puzzle? How can you feel like it's still interesting? And like, for me, the constraints make it more interesting, because I think when I have too
mhm,
much possibility in front of me, like if I was uh, using every color instead of a set palette, I think that I would probably find that maybe overwhelming, or I would get like decision fatigue within it. But when I have this like set world that I like to work within and the set aesthetic, it's figuring out how to like push and pull all of these little elements to make them similar but different, that just seems really interesting to me.
mhm.
And in the last year or so, I've started expanding my palette just a little bit, inch by
Just
inch,
smidgen.
just to just to wanna keep, my aesthetic that I've, like, built, but I gotta keep it interesting for myself too, and so sometimes, within that set of constraints, I like to add in a little bit of a wild card. So lately,
Mhm,
I've been adding in, phthalo green. I'm working on another piece, today that had for Poetic Tiger, that has a phthalo green background. I wish I
mm,
could show it to you, but it's drying in my spray room right now.
mhm,
Uh, and it kind of calls back to what we were just talking about, the like influence of nature on our work and where we've
mhm,
come from and things like that. The show is I think it's called Just Like Home,
mm,
and it's asking you to think about your roots. And so this piece
mhm.
that I'm working on, uh, and I feel I feel rude because I don't have any visual examples of it for people to go see yet. But it's
It's
a
okay.
little green background, a red moon, and then a woman that her hair is like patterned like a loon,
Mm,
golden bulrushes coming
mm.
up around her.
That's
So
interesting.
yeah, I'll
Yeah.
I'll show you. I'll send you a picture when it's when
Yeah, totally.
I realize.
And it gives people something to look forward to too. Like, stay
Yeah.
tuned because your work is so interesting, and I love that you have such a set process. Like, I went to a show at the local art gallery here, the Meg. Um, and they were showing student work. They were showing like the Red Deer Polytechnic's students' work, and they'd done these monochromatic self-portraits.
Mhm.
And I saw someone had done a monochromatic self-portrait with like a red background and a blue, and I was like, "They're stealing Morgan's stuff." And I was like, "They're probably not. They're probably
Yeah.
just like taking too long." But I was like,
Yeah.
all indignant for you. Because you do have such a strong I always know your work because you're that constraint has been there for so solidly for so long, and for someone as scattered and disorganized as I am, I love that you're capable of doing that and capable of like just being so I think of it as very disciplined, like keeping yourself within those parameters. Um, I think it's so cool. And I love that you can look back from years ago and it still looks like it's part of the same collection.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's a little maddening sometimes, but in like the
You mean
best.
you're not sane? Is that what you I don't think you can be sane if you're a serious artist. There's no way.
Yeah,
Right?
there's a lot
And
of perfectionism
I've
required.
heard this about like anybody who's good at anything, you have to have like a screw loose. Like there has to be some obsessive stuckness there.
Yeah.
That's the only way you can keep doing this, because my experience anyways, I think everybody who's in the art world has experienced this, so you could tell me I'm wrong, but I think this is true. Every single artist goes through so much disappointment, so much discouragement, um, so much negativity around being an artist. Like,
Mhm.
well, it's your real job, you know,
Yeah.
from the time you're little, that you have to be a little bit crazy or delusional to continue on this path.
Yeah. Like you have to be a little bit obsessive, definitely. Uh,
Mhm,
and I'm neurodivergent. I have ADHD, so
mhm.
it's no surprise that I've like really focused on this one thing.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I don't know. I just really enjoy I really enjoy it, and I feel like there are still a lot of things for me to explore within it. Um,
That's good.
but yeah.
I have the other kind of ADHD that's like, but what about this? What about that? Let's go over here. And that's like, as soon as I make a rule for myself, like, you have to stick to, I can't now. It's like the worst
Because you've
feeling.
established it.
Yeah.
I feel like I see a lot of throughway in your work though. Like I see
Oh,
like
that's good. At least somebody can.
I always have. I always have. I can always
That's good. Oh, that's good. Yeah. Well, tell my collectors, like, there's a reason she's doing this. I feel crazy sometimes too, so I completely understand. I think I've mentioned this before. I have a working theory that every artist has some kind of mental health problem. Yeah, like, even when you look back at former artists, like artists of yore, you're like,
And
oh yeah, I can see
that
it.
got cut off this year.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. No, I feel that. There's some days where I'm like, what do I have to do to get into a mental hospital? You know? Like, it would be such a nice, like, little reprieve. People are like bringing you food and like giving you art supplies and asking you how you're doing. That sounds wonderful.
Do you ever get anxious when you're creating your work?
When I'm creating it,
Mhm.
sometimes, yeah. Especially if it's something that no, actually all the time, actually.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it and I'm like, well, this landscape's making me very anxious because I'm not amazing at them. Um, but then I think about the things that I do feel good about, and
Mhm.
even then, yeah, definitely. Do
Yeah.
you?
Oh, absolutely. My whole like majority of my process, uh, there's anxiety there, which is really annoying. I think that there's not much anxiety when I'm putting together the idea and when
No.
I create a composite image in Photoshop
Mhm.
to like come up with the idea and then refine it into a drawing that I then move into the physical execution stage. The physical execution stage is where there's no back button.
Yes.
So,
There's
and
no undo.
yeah, and I'm a mixed media artist, and always trying new things on a deadline, which is so dumb.
It's so fun.
But yeah, so I get material anxiety sometimes, but
Mm.
oftentimes I'll get like almost intimidated by the drawing. Like if I'm
Um,
like excited, if I'm really, really excited about an idea, I'll procrastinate actually painting it because
mm.
I want to live up to creating a physical object that matches how good I want this thing to be. And so sometimes it'll be like, sometimes painting will be just feel super easy and effortless. And that is maybe 8% of the time for me. And then the rest
That's
of the time,
hilarious.
like trying to herd a cat to get them to go to the
Uh-huh.
easel. The stencil work doesn't
Oh,
cause me
yeah.
that much anxiety because it's pretty cut and dry. Um,
Mhm.
literally. Um,
I would try, but
oil, the oil painting is like once I get into actually creating the face of the character and
Mhm,
trying to create a sense of humanity and personality and life,
mhm.
that's when I get intimidated, I
Oh
think.
yeah,
And then there's this beautiful moment where it starts to gel, and I'm like, okay, everything's gonna be okay. It's okay.
yeah,
Everything's fine.
yeah. I'll be fine. You
Yeah.
know, I really found that with tattooing.
Mm,
I had so much anxiety about creating pieces for people, and I would get anxious in the middle of a tattoo, and I was like, "This is not good."
yeah.
Like, there's
I can't stop
there's talk
meditation.
about no undo button, and
Mhm.
there's no and, like, people are sometimes watching you as you tattoo them, and
I could
and
never.
it's like, "Well, I don't know what I'm freaking doing, and now I just wanna die because you're looking at me." And, like and it's not like oil painting where you can pa repaint it. You can take it back. I could, like, erase it
Mhm.
after. That's one thing I like about oil paints versus, like, I know you use acrylic in your practice, and, I I mean, hats off to you. I would find that so frustrating,
Yeah,
but
I've got so like I guess the only way to talk about it is so like this piece, the background and
mhm,
all of the turtleneck and the hair is spray paint, acrylic spray paint, and I'm doing it with the stencil, and it's got to come out super perfect the first time because the paints, if they layer over top of each other, you can't just touch it up and the background not remain perfect.
yeah,
And then the blue is oil paint, so I can erase with that,
mhm,
but yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of perfectionism that's tied up in the way that I approach my work, and
mhm,
I think that it is simultaneously deeply, deeply satisfying because it's a
mhm,
challenge that I get to approach again and again and again, but
mhm,
difficult. Like I wish sometimes that
mhm,
I made work that was more intuitive so that there was
mhm,
room for any error. Uh,
mhm.
like I'm the only person telling myself that I have to do it,
Yeah.
which is really annoying.
Right? I know, it's like that meme where you're looking in the mirror at yourself and you're like, "You better do this right."
Turn it with the towel.
Yeah. And then I find myself and, like, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just me, but, like, sometimes I'll go through other people's work and I mean, not your work, but there are other people's work where I'm, like, judging their anatomy. I'm
Mm,
like I'm like, "Hmm, I don't know about that neck," you know? And I'm
mm.
like, "Oh, what if people are doing that to me?"
And
You know?
the reality of being an artist is that they are like we're putting our skills out there and our expression out there to be judged. Like we're sharing it with the intention of sharing it and hoping
Mhm.
that it'll be appreciated. But it is we're opening ourselves for judgment too, which is a
Absolutely.
complicated way to be, and then also attaching monetary value to it and
Oh my gosh.
that like sales success back on
Wow.
that's connected to our sense of self and success too. It's
Mhm.
yeah,
It's
we do need a screw loose to do this.
I remember this one show, and it was one of the first shows that I was in, and I'd rented this space in a gallery, and they had like an open house, and I'd painted this big painting of The Crow from you've seen that movie, right? Like and I just remember so many because I was in a retirement town, so many people, like so many old ladies walking past going, "That's who would paint that? Why would you paint that? It's
Yeah.
so gross. Ew. Why?" And it gave me life. Like I loved it.
Yeah.
And I thought, there is no way that this is normal if that is what I needed.
Mhm.
Like, who's like
You're like
that?
yeah, you're like any reaction is a reaction.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm just like, "Yeah, you hate it. Yeah."
I get
I
the
loved
like
it.
that's weird. And like, why are they all
Mm,
blue all the time? And I'm like, that's what I like about it. Blue
mhm.
are weird.
Like, I don't know about you, but were you the kind of kid that was actively contrarian? Would you consider?
I
Yes.
might have one answer, my mother might have another.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that I think makes us an artist is like we're we are seeking validation, but not at the
Yeah,
same time. Like there is a bit of that there where you're like, I want your money, but also I don't care if you hate me.
yeah.
A little bit.
We're all just cats.
Basically. Yeah. I think that I think that's why a lot of artists had cats.
Yeah,
You
I'm
notice
allergic.
that?
So.
Are you?
But
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I'm a dog person, to be honest. Like, might have some of the hallmark uh, personality traits of a cat as an
As a
artist,
cat.
but like as a
Mhm.
person, I'm a dog person for sure.
Yeah. I have them all. So,
I know you have so many animals.
so many animals. I don't even want anyone to know how many because I'm afraid of the authorities.
I love when you put them on your stories, and I feel like I get to know their little personalities. That's my favorite. I love when you like pan over and there's like 3 dogs in your studio.
Yeah, there's so many animals, like, oh, but they're great. And I feel like they've really like inspired me over the last little while.
Mhm.
Um, yeah.
In what way?
I love them.
What way did they inspire you?
Um, I think because my kids are grown up now, like they're all like they're past that sweet, naive, full of wonder stage, and they're getting into the salty teenager stage.
Mhm.
Actually, one of my kids turned 18 um, this past week, so that was weird.
Mhm.
Um, I think it's because of that, but they're still at that like sweet, naive, like there's no guile in animals.
Yeah.
Um,
They're
there's
just
this one
people talk.
model, yeah, that I've painted over and over again, and it's because she has this thing about her where she could be completely nude and
Mhm.
she doesn't look self-conscious. And I mean, how often do you encounter that in a person where
Mhm.
they're so comfortable in their own skin? It's like an animal inhabiting their own flesh, like they don't think anything
Yeah,
of it.
the ability to be self-conscious.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
just
because
like
of lack of the like the feeling of being perceived.
yeah. Yeah, just like that complete openness, a complete just I can't even express it in words. Like it's such a she looks so comfortable. It
Mhm.
reminds me of my cat just like sitting on the kitchen floor. Doesn't you can look at she doesn't care.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. Something about that.
Yeah, that's cool.
What
That's good.
what draws you to your subjects? Like
Um, I, especially lately, am creating characters that are very self-assured,
mhm, I
um,
noticed that.
and have a presence that is kind of unquestionable.
Hmm.
And I think what draws me to that is like just as my own kind of person, trying to understand who I am and being comfortable in my own skin and being comfortable with being perceived, being comfortable with being present and unafraid and living in my truth and being sure of my reality and things like that.
Hmm.
And when when I was a kid, my parents divorced, and they both ended up with partners that were really unhealthy, abusive people. For anyone that knows me that's watching now, my mom's current partner, her husband now is the best guy ever.
Oh, awesome.
But way back when, yeah, my dad married someone who was horrible, and my mom was with someone who was horrible too. And when I was a kid, I was made to kind of question my reality a lot. And anytime that I was standing up for myself, there was punishment. So
Mhm.
I, when I'm creating these characters, and especially the the last full collection that I did for my solo show, Tooth and Nail in 2025, where all of the women have weapons,
Yeah.
that was as a response to wanting to create characters that felt like protectors that would
Mhm.
protect the sense of self that would be questioned or made to feel small by external forces. If that, it's hard to
Yeah.
understand, like, especially with everything that's going on in the media and in
Mhm.
politics. There's just a, I feel that there's such an overwhelming sense of danger and unsafety in being yourself, and
Mhm.
in expressing what you perceive as reality. And like, so I just wanted to create a series of people or of characters that were like, fuck you, try it. Like,
Right.
kind
Mhm.
of just standing in sureness of themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, that
Yeah.
was a
No.
lot.
Yeah, no, I actually it's really interesting that it's so personal.
Mhm.
Like, um,
'Cause it is a
yeah,
very pop aesthetic, and it seems like it's more kind of
mhm.
accessible, but yeah, it does come from a personal place, I guess, painting women that are, strong.
Yeah. I know I think I mentioned this to you, they really remind me of, Frank Miller's Sin City characters.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, which I love. I love his work. I love his comic books, his movies. I'm like, "Frank Miller, I love you."
Yeah, me too. And I see that, and I think that that would probably be a pretty early influence for me too. Like I was
Mhm.
definitely drawing Sin City characters when I was in high school and stuff. Just like
Absolutely.
the limited palette, the graphic
Right? Totally.
lines, the
Yeah.
high contrast.
Yes, and your work's so graphic, like, it has a very graphic quality, but you
Mhm.
still have that, like, fine art feeling to it, like,
Thank you.
um, which I think is always what kind of draws me to it. Uh, very I would say your work is sort of minimalistic in a
Yeah,
sense,
yeah,
but
definitely.
there is that, like, layered, because there's so many layers, to it where I know that there's more to the story of it
Mhm.
just by, like, some of the symbolism that you'll use in their clothing or, whatever it is, it's not on the nose. You can tell there's something deeper there. So
Yeah.
to hear that how personal a story that is for you, that really gives the work a depth to it that I didn't see immediately.
Yeah, it creates more context, I think, and,
Mhm,
it's something that I've not readily shared. Like, I
mhm.
haven't had a ton of opportunity to share it, and it feels like social media is kind of a difficult place to go deep right away. Um,
Definitely.
so and, like, sometimes you, as an artist, are painting things that have a subtext that you don't understand until you've created them.
Yes. That's what the surrealists were trying to do,
Yeah.
right? They were trying to dig beneath the surface. And that's why they were documenting their dreams, they were doing automatic writing, all that stuff. Do you find that when you're in that flow thought process state, when you're coming up with your ideas and composition, that it is kind of like an automatic sort of thing that you only understand afterwards?
Um, I think when I'm coming up with a collection, like the I've done 2 solo shows. One was in 2024 that was self-presented, and coming up with a concept was so difficult, and then, with this last one in 2025, coming up with the concept is the most difficult, I think, but uh or sorry, I'm trying to answer what you're asking, but the kind of the guided automatic sense makes itself apparent after I've started collecting reference images and start to see the commonalities within all of the reference images, and then that
Right.
informs where I want to take the theme. I'm not sure if that actually answers what you're asking.
No, yeah, totally. Like, um, so, and I kind of get where you're going. Like, so at the beginning of this year, I was starting to create a body of work for a solo show, and then just life fucked me over a little bit.
Mhm.
And it's interesting because I felt like I was pregnant almost with this
Yeah.
idea. And I had to keep just following these threads. And then they had this commonality, but I was waiting for the process that I had just started,
Mhm.
waiting like through the process. And I feel like going through that process of painting each piece, it's like that deeper meaning reveals itself as
Mhm.
you're painting it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like months after I've painted it where I'm like, oh, that meant that.
Mhm.
And I didn't see it until now.
Yeah. It's almost like a conversation that happens with the piece, especially if you get to keep
Mhm,
it for a little while and get to hang out with it and look at it.
mhm.
Because I often have to ship out my pieces right away, and so I'm like, why? I don't get the opportunity to really like hang out with them and have them continue to reveal their meanings to me because I'm on to the next one. But sometimes I'll go back to a piece maybe like just from a year ago or 2 years ago, and I'll be like, oh, I think maybe I made that choice because of this.
Mm, yeah. And you feel like you feel like a lot of it is processing external events, or do you feel like the majority of it is processing internal
Oh,
stuff?
internal
Yeah.
definitely, and even when it's an external event, like what I was talking about, the like general collective unsafe feeling,
Hmm.
it's still how I'm processing it internally and how it's impacting my emotions. And but then sometimes there's pieces that I just want to make because they look fucking cool.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I, it's so unfortunate that the art world is so about, is it meaningful? It's
Mhm.
kind of like when people get tattoos, and someone will inevitably come up and be like, "Don't just get a tattoo because it looks cool.
Mhm.
Get it because it means something to you." It's like, fuck off,
Yeah.
like get a tattoo because you want to.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing for art. And I see this a lot where people, especially because I've been working at a pottery studio, where people are like, well, I can only paint this if it's useful. And it's like, no, dude, you deserve something beautiful. Like, just make something beautiful. Who
Yeah.
cares? Like, you live once.
Yeah. And art
Y-
is meant to be like an expression of like an extension of our humanity. And we're allowed to like
Yeah.
before we had day jobs, we picked berries. You're allowed to pick berries
Yeah.
sometimes, or you're allowed to sit in the flowers, you know?
Yeah. And when you think about it, like they sacrificed berries, which would have been, a high sugar. It wouldn't just be a treat, but also when you're talking about survival, that's like a lot of energy packed into a bit of fruit. They crushed it up and painted with it.
Yeah, that's
You
incredible.
know?
That it just, I've never thought of it that way before. That's so cool. Yeah, like
Yeah, it's
yeah,
kind of interesting,
resource.
right?
Yeah, that's super interesting. I'm gonna be
Yeah, it would have been really like a dense resource because like so the natives, that's what they would take meat and berries and root vegetables and grind it all up and make pemmican out of it
Mhm.
because all those things are really, really dense. And there are people that just saw that and they were like, you know what? I'm gonna use this handful of berries. I'm gonna put some flowers on my wall,
Yeah, you're
because that
using a
must have been
resource.
important.
Yeah, using a finite resource to create joy as
Yeah.
opposed to just meeting the physical needs. That's so cool.
Yeah. It is a cool thing, and I think that it speaks to that part of us that is more than just flesh and blood and hair and nails. Like we're something more than that. And I think that's something that comes up every time I talk to another artist is we're like drawing on something that is more than the physical.
Mhm.
There's something ephemeral or well, I feel like we're ephemeral, but like there's something beyond that we're pulling from and making into a reality.
Yeah. Yeah,
Would you
absolutely.
say that about like I would think that about your work. I
Yeah.
feel like you're pulling
It's
from something else.
yeah, it's like, trying to catch an idea sometimes. Almost
Mhm.
feels like you're trying to, like, catch smoke. You're pulling at these little threads
Mm,
that are
yeah.
just, like, half thoughts and flashes
Mhm.
of images in your brain, and then trying to gel them together so that they actually create something that you can make into a physical object to be enjoyed by other people. It's a kind of alchemy,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's really fun.
It is fun. And, like, I find if I procrastinate on an idea,
Mhm.
someone else does it. You ever
Ah,
seen that?
yeah, so you've put it out into the
Yeah.
world, and because
It's
you didn't
almost
bring it back.
yeah, it's almost like I caught this idea and then someone else caught part of it too, and they did it, and I was like, "Dang it, I was gonna do that. Now I
Yeah.
can't because
Yeah,
you
yeah.
did it." It's one of the worst feelings. You're like, "I should have procrastinated."
Still make it
Uh,
anyway, I think.
yeah, I
When you're
probably should. I probably should anyway.
bored.
I'm terrible with that, though, I'm like, "They did it already."
Do you ever get bored of an idea before you make it, or, like,
Absolutely.
I get that.
Yeah. I'm like you, I mock my things up digitally
Mhm,
in Procreate, and, for me, it's a very intuitive process too, but it's hard, right? Like, a lot of times I've asked people for reference or I've taken reference, and then I'm trying to I'm trying to put it all together in a desirable composition. And then I'll get to a certain and sometimes I'll sit with that mock-up for months,
mhm.
and I have tons of them that I've just never done. Because 'Cause I'm like, "Well, I don't know if I'm into that anymore."
Yeah, it's like once the novelty of the idea being born happens, then you gotta do the hard work of actually making it, and you're like, "Ah."
I don't know. I know, and it's kinda silly, like, I kinda wish that I was just when I started, I was very driven and I'd paint every single day.
Mhm,
And I painted for an hour, 2 hours every single day. And I had this in my mind, like I had to do that. And as I've gotten farther and farther away from that beginning passion, um, there's something about the work where it's almost like if there isn't a paycheck or there isn't a deadline, like I just don't always want to.
oh, for
And
sure. I totally
yeah.
get that. I have a gabillion deadlines, and that's the major reason why I'm painting. If I didn't have a deadline, I think I would find it really difficult to actually get to the completion because I do feel like I need external accountability to get
Mhm.
to the finish line oftentimes.
Yeah. I feel like we've been paying for a similar amount of time. Um, I think I'm coming up on a decade, and I don't know how long you've been painting for, but I feel like I've gotten to that point where it's like this is my job
Yeah.
more so than this is my passion or my hobby. It's like
Yeah.
it's my job.
Yeah, for sure. Like I'm a professional artist. I take that really seriously, and I take the
Mhm.
commitments that I make as seriously as I'm able to around other life commitments and trying to sustain buying groceries and things like that. But yeah, like sometimes, yeah, the spark of that, like this is my passion thing. Sometimes I miss that. I miss art school, Morgan, a little bit sometimes,
Mm,
even though she
yeah.
dropped out.
Hey man, at least you went. Like
Yeah, I went
I
from
did.
almost 2 years, but
Oh,
so
wow. Well, I think that's a lot of dedication. I mean, I think I went, or I didn't go to art school at all. I started painting when I was 28. So I was a late bloomer for pretty much everything in life. How long have you been painting for? Like in a like not in a like when you're a little kid, like in a professional sense or in a serious sense?
um I went to trying to kind of think about like what I consider. There's a couple of different chapters where I've like been close to art and then when I've been farther away from art.
Hmm.
I went to an arts specific high school, which was amazing. Like I got to
Yeah.
do like math would be like the first period of the day, which I'd skip. Uh,
Nice.
yeah, and then the afternoon would be like life drawing, and then final period would be like sculpture, and then the next one would be like English, and I got to write creatively or something.
Yes.
So it was like a lot of really like juicy creative input all the
That sounds
time.
so fun.
I really, really loved
Uh-huh.
it. And then went to OCAD, which is the Ontario College of Art and Design University uh,
Mhm.
in Toronto, and just did hated the foundation year because it was
Mhm.
like all the things that it was like,
That you'd already done.
yeah, technical theory
Mhm.
of stuff that I felt that I had learned in high school. Uh,
Morgan already knew.
yeah, and I had gone into OCAD in the illustration program because that's what my mom was like. If you're gonna go to art school and I can't convince you to be like going for like graphic design or something, then okay, do illustration. That way you can at least do like client work. Um,
Mhm.
and now I love illustration. Now I
Mhm.
absolutely love illustration. But
Yeah.
when I was 18 and just wanted to be a painter, it was just like the thing. And
Yeah.
I hated working on computers back then. So I
Yeah.
took out. And then for years, for probably 8 years, I was just in art administration and I barely made anything at all.
Mm. Mhm.
And I worked with so many artists. I worked for a live painting company
Oh, wow.
where I was seeing artists creating all of the time and I was curating them into shows and
Mm.
really, really exposed to the creative output of other people.
Mhm.
And one day it just made me uh, feel a little sad and left out
Mm.
because I wasn't creating any of my own work at
Mhm.
all. And then I went back to it. So I'd say 2018, I came back to it, I guess, a little bit. And then
Mhm.
uh, 2019, I left that job and started to really commit to it. So 2019, I'd say, is like, so I guess 7 years is the last like
Mhm.
really intense part where I've actually been committed to making my own work rather than
Right.
just kind of playing or occasionally sketching. Like, I don't know if in those 8 years I finished more than like 5 paintings.
Wow.
And
But
then,
you've been very prolific ever since.
yes, a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I make a lot of paintings.
Yeah, you do. A lot of finished work.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would say.
and that's because of those deadlines.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's hard to manage yourself,
Yeah,
you know. Um, I feel like one little thing, one little cog in my life goes off and I'm just off the rails. Like, yeah. So this week was one of those weeks. And we had a little scheduling error, which was completely on me. Um, I just Yeah, a lot has been happening, and I just I find that it's very hard to stay on course when again you're that person in the mirror like you better stay on course
yeah,
and there's nobody else. You're the marketer, you're your own press, you build your website, you make sure you're shipping things on time and yeah, it's tricky. It's
yeah.
very tricky.
It's hard to uh, create when there's not like an existing sense of like peace and safety in your
Yeah.
life, like when things are in flux.
Hmm.
It's hard to, because catching the smoke is hard.
Hmm.
And then creating the space in your life to sit down and dedicate many uninterrupted hours at once is
Hmm.
also hard. And so
Hmm.
putting those two things together when life is lifing aggressively around you, um,
Hmm.
it's hard. And
Very
I
hard.
think
Yeah.
it's just so much dedication to have an art practice.
It is. It is a lot of dedication. It is kind of a luxury. Um, you mentioned that your husband's also, is he an artist? Is he works with his hands in some fashion?
So he is a professional photographer is with where he's coming
Oh,
from, but
that's
he's
handy.
oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I'll photograph my wet paintings and then send the image
Yeah.
to the gallery an hour
Oh my
later.
gosh.
But
Can you get him to like do a little like web course and I will like throw money at him so that I know how to take photos of my web paintings because there is nobody who knows how to do that.
oh, polarizing filter, baby.
Yeah.
The pieces are still wet, polarizing filter. But he's coming from a
Absolutely.
photography background, uh,
Hmm.
and now he's transitioned into woodworking. And the
Okay.
niche that he's dedicated to is making custom slingshots.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so cool. And we actually collaborated on a piece that I did recently.
Yeah,
Uh,
I remember.
yeah, the slingshot piece one's called Ready for Goliath, and it's a woman that is like holding or uh, aiming a slingshot, and I modeled it
Hmm.
after one of his slingshots. So it's great to have
Nice.
him around because he can take all the awkward reference photos of me trying to like, do all these poses of people holding weapons and like.
Nice.
But yeah, it's a very creative household for sure.
Definitely. Well, that's awesome that you're able to both do something that you're passionate about and, you know, that that's so rare. Like, yeah, that's a very cool thing to be able to both. And when you mentioned renting a house in Toronto, I was like, dude, I don't know what's
Wild.
more rare.
Like
Like
maybe
the house or the fact you're both artists.
I
Like,
absolutely think that he manifested this in the pandemic because it is a commercial company that owns
okay.
the house because they're gonna knock it down and make condos on top of it because Toronto
Right.
does not have enough condos apparently.
Apparently.
But that was like 5 years ago. Like we were only
Hmm.
supposed to really have this house for a year, and then the condo market just tanked. Uh,
Perfect.
so I really think that he just manifested it because he just saw this like weird Craigslist ad from this commercial realtor
Huh.
for a house, and there were no photos, but he just called and he was like, "I want to see it." And then he went, and it was like there were just people on top of people on top of people living in this house. Like every nook and
Oh,
cranny
really?
turned into a bedroom. There were like tires piled in the living room.
Wow.
Very like the backyard. The teenage son had made a like a mini basketball court on the patio, and he had made a fence for himself so that the ball wouldn't like keep rolling away out of orange construction netting and sticks and string.
Oh,
Yeah, so innovative, this little boy.
very
When we
innovative.
got
Yeah.
here, the place was just like, what has happened here? And my
Oh,
husband's really handy, so we got it kind of like usually you wouldn't want to put a lot of effort into like making a rental something, but we knew that
no.
it was just so out of the blue that we had something that we were able to afford that was a house, and we were
Yeah.
there as long as we could, and especially for we were able to have creative spaces in it.
Well, and that's kind of perfect for creative space, especially like woodworking and oil painting.
Yeah,
Not a lot of people want their renters doing that in that
yeah. Like,
space, right?
I have a spray paint booth downstairs. Like,
Right?
yeah,
It's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's in the rental market here in Canada, everywhere in Canada is insane right now. That was why we moved was because everyone during the pandemic in Vancouver sold their places for millions of dollars. Their little dumpy, 1940s house for like 6 million and moved to the Okanagan. They had bidding wars over dumpy houses in the Okanagan.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's interesting how much that affects where artists can live because we need such specific places in a sense. Like, you need a place where you can make a mess. You need a place where people don't care if you're putting in, whatever. So yeah, it's really cool that you're able to both have a workshop there
Yeah,
and have your
we're
own space.
yeah, we want to move out of the city to like have a more peaceful experience, and
Mhm.
but we also don't want to leave this house
Mm.
while we're still able to be in it. We're kind of just waiting for
Yeah.
them to kick us out. Um, Everyone sees me fidgeting with these brass knuckles. I'm not vaguely threatening Ariane.
If you are, I mean, hey man, there's enough space between us. We should just like meet in the middle
Yeah.
somewhere in like Manitoba and be like, it's time for a battle.
So Scott made me these
Aw, that's
for
cool.
because one of the paintings that I did for my last solo show, I had a character that was holding brass knuckles.
Hmm.
It's illegal to buy brass knuckles
It
in
is.
Canada,
Yeah.
which I didn't realize, and I needed such a specific reference that just my own hand without anything in it wasn't working. So he made me these out of resin in a pressure pot in his studio downstairs. So
Nice.
I really benefit from his studio also.
And it's funny. I think even those, even though they're not actually brass knuckles, will get confiscated if you took it out and
Yeah,
around
like I
because it just looks like the thing, they will take it away.
yeah, they're so fun to fidget though. I knew I needed a fidget for a longer conversation, but yeah, I had so the solo that I did with Arch, I went to travel to go see it.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be fun if I gifted this to Lauren at Arch, the curator? And I
Yeah.
was like, I cannot fly with this.
No.
I cannot fly with this.
You can't fly with
We'll
it.
never
You
make it
can't
to
even
this
fly
one.
with a water bottle though. Like
Yeah.
it sucks. Oh, well, it's funny because it reminds me of my kid. Just the other day, she was asking me, "Mom, why didn't you get an engagement ring?" And I was like, I just thought a sword would be cooler. And it
You got
when
an
we were
engagement sword?
huh?
Did you get an engagement sword?
Yeah, I got an engagement
That's the
samurai sword.
coolest
I
thing.
was like, he was like, "Well, do you want a ring or do you want a sword?" And I was like, "A sword." I'm like,
It is amazing.
I'm like, no
It's the best thing
questions
that's
asked.
the best thing I've ever heard. I love that so
And one thing I found out about the law is apparently, as long as it is a visible weapon, you can absolutely carry it around. It's not concealed. So I could carry that samurai sword around town and no one could say anything.
shing, like
Yeah. I was like, cool, but I never tried it. I never tried it because I was like, what if they like
what
what
if
if
they
they
come at me?
confiscate?
What if
Yeah, like what if they confiscated it? Like I would be so choked.
I know I love sword.
Like I'm allowed, it's the law. And like that would be it would be in yeah, then they'd change it because of me. So I just wouldn't do it. But you can, as long as it's not concealed. And I think that's where the brass knuckles, and switchblades, things like that, because they can be concealed
Yeah.
and they look scary,
Mhm.
that's the sole reason why you're not allowed to use
Yeah.
them. So it kind of sucks. All the cool things.
Yeah. I could not do any damage with these at all. Like there it is a resin uh
Hmm.
thing that could hurt someone, but it's the arthritic hands behind it.
It would hurt you more.
Yeah, not a problem.
It would hurt you more than it would hurt anyone else.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Oh my gosh. I mean, we're little meat bags. Why would you want to get into any kind of fight? And be like, "Ow, that hurts."
I'm like, I paint tough ladies. I'm not a tough lady.
Yeah. Leave me alone. I'll hate you. I think my most threatening weapon would be like turpentine. Like, I'll chuck that. That would actually be scary though.
Yeah,
Legit.
that would definitely be scary for sure. This is a record of us planning assaults on the internet.
Right, yeah, that's basically we're just discussing our crimes like
Yeah.
villains. I did this because like a cartoon villain. Oh my gosh. Well, I do have a little set of questions that I like to ask people, so maybe I'll throw one of those at you.
Right.
What is your biggest challenge as a living artist?
Hmm. I think. Oh man, what is my biggest challenge as a living artist? I think creating the stability required to feel creative.
Mm,
Like
amen.
yeah, like meeting all of your basic needs so that there is space to expand beyond that and to consider other things and to uh yeah, just give myself space to have ideas. And I guess time management can be a challenge,
Yes.
especially as an oil painter, waiting for oil to dry.
hmm Are you like a multi-piece kind of painter? Do you have many going?
No, I wish that I was. Like when I'm doing a solo, I can kind of batch things, but the
Mm-hmm.
rest of the time, I'm kind of doing group show after group show and creating to a specific theme for that. So yeah, more one at
hmm
a time with that. I wish that I was able to batch it better, but
hmm
sometimes the idea just doesn't come together until the next one is finished.
hmm Love group shows. I know a lot of people are like, group shows, they're so like you have to tailor the piece to it.
I
But
love it.
I love group shows. Like I like them more than solo shows because I feel like it's a conversation with a group of creative people, which is why I love this,
Mhm.
right? Why I love talking to you and all these artists that I've had on here. We're all talking about one thing and we have vastly different ideas of what that is.
Yeah, the interpretation of it. Like yeah, I love group shows. Um, and one of the biggest reasons why I am an artist is because I love artists and I love connecting with artists in community. So I'm joking earlier that I don't leave my house, but I'm talking to artists every single day online. And having a creative community is deeply, deeply important to me. And being in group shows is something that facilitates that. Like I think
Mm,
you and I started getting to know each other, I think during COVID, but we also
Probably.
have shown together at Modern Eden and just,
Mhm.
yeah, the opportunity to be in a group show and see the different
Mhm.
interpretations of like 30 or 40 artists of a single theme is
Mhm.
so fucking cool. Like I
It
love
is.
artists. I love
I
artists.
love
They're the
it.
coolest brains.
I know, right? I think I love that. It feels like you're visiting another planet. You
Yeah.
know, like when you see someone else's idea of something, you're just like, man, I just love that about you. You know, like your world is colored this, and it's so different than anything I would have ever imagined.
Mhm.
And I know I've mentioned this before, but you have been a huge source of encouragement for me because I definitely have those times and I don't know if everybody struggles like this, but I definitely struggle with feeling like my work is pointless and like I should just give up. And you know, there's a few people that I've had in my corner, and I would say you're one of them.
Oh, this is so awesome. And you've been
That
really
has
cool too. And
really been like,
I love your work and I think it's so
oh,
important and I
thanks.
always want to see it and I always want to see you continue creating. Like I'd be so sad if
Yeah.
I didn't get to see any new pieces of yours ever again. That
Well,
would
thank you.
like I've got your postcard on my studio wall that I see every day. I don't know
Aw,
if you can actually see it.
cool.
There we go. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there she is. Aw, well, thank you. I mean, that's it means so much. Like it really does. And like I've always I love your work too. And I think I've moved studios so many times. I just need to like set this one up and put things up like that to remind me I'm not alone. Like
Mhm.
we are a community and like yeah, definitely been a huge inspiration to me. Just even seeing there's other islands of people out there and they're like still making work. It's like looking across these vast distances and being like seeing another star on the other side of the galaxy.
Yeah. I kind of feel the same too. It's like I feel like we've had a lot of really great conversations where we talk about when it's hard.
Yeah.
And I think that people underestimate the power of sharing uh, vulnerability and
Mhm.
sharing difficulty, especially in this age of social media where we're all looking at artist profiles that are artists talking about like what they've got going on, and it's all
Mhm.
like curated to create an external sense of success. And
Mhm.
I totally get that. I do that too,
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
that's a part of promoting yourself as an artist. But I think it's
Mhm.
so important also to talk about the difficult realities, because then it makes
Mhm.
you feel not alone, and it makes you feel like there's
Mhm.
not something that's just wrong with you if you're having a difficult day creating, or if you're
Mhm.
not feeling really committed to your practice for a time because it feels unstable. And
Mhm.
talking about that just, yeah, it bolsters you, I
Mhm.
think. And I think that that's been
Absolutely.
our experience in our friendship.
Absolutely. I think so too. And I that's where I really love chatting with artists and I feel like artists tend to be pretty open
Mhm.
about when you really get yes, there is that curated vision, but when you're like, "Hey, how are you doing?" and they'll be like, "Actually, this is all bullshit
Yeah,
and I'm having a really hard time. I don't want to make work. I don't, I haven't been paid for 2 months. Like I don't know what I'm doing." I even saw this video about this guy who's like, "Yeah, people see me as an artist who makes $100,000 in a year, but I'm in debt." And they're like, "How are you in debt?" And he's like, "Well, I make $100,000 at the solo show once a year. The gallery takes half, and then the government takes like 30 grand or
yeah,
whatever, like 20, 30% of my income. So I'm in debt because I spent a whole year, living off of credit to make this work."
yeah,
And that's something like nobody talks about. Nobody talks about the cost of being creative, the cost of not just mentally, but and emotionally and but that physical element of sustaining yourself.
yeah,
Um and like here in Red Deer right now, I think we have an abnormally high unemployment rate. And I've gone through so many jobs, and that's really stressful because there's work I'd like to make, but all I can think about is how am I going to pay this?
yeah,
Like, how? And this is where I feel like Canada would really benefit from following a model like Ireland just came up with
yeah. Give me that
because,
sweet artist UBI.
right? Like, it's if you take that pressure off, how much how much do you get back? Like how much more would you make in like
Yeah,
not
right.
I mean like physically make pieces if you didn't have to worry about that portion of your rent, right? Like it's not gonna be perfect. It's not going to you're not gonna go out and, buy a new wardrobe or something. Like you're gonna, buy some groceries and pay some bills with that
Yeah.
money. Like
You
how much easier would it be to be you?
Yeah, you create space for like when you don't have to worry about stability, there's space, and that
Mhm,
space for artists gets filled with creativity. And so
mhm.
trying to create that space for yourself, I think is hard.
It's hard. It's a hard one. And yeah, it's hard to all of it is hard. Marketing yourself is hard. Like I find selling a product at the pottery place, for example, So much easier than marketing myself. Do
Mhm.
you find that? Like it probably you find that when you're marketing other artists. Do you find that's easier than marketing yourself?
Oh God, yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
I could market other artists all freaking day. Like for context, my day job is that I run where I'm the director for a large scale outdoor art fair in Toronto. And so there's 165 artists in it, and I can promote
Mhm,
them all day, totally easy, no problem.
mhm,
I love talking about other artists' work, but doing it myself is
mhm,
difficult because you're facing that whole what we were talking about being perceived, uh,
mhm,
connecting a story to your work, which might be more of a personal story, like I shared before. Um, Trying to sell a luxury object
mhm,
in this day and age can also come with its kind of own sense of weirdness.
mhm.
Uh, but you have to because you want to keep making the things, right? And
Right?
uh, yeah, like I think honestly, the biggest difficulty that I have with marketing myself as an artist is disrupting my process to document it. Because if I'm in
Mm,
a flow state, and especially when I was talking about like how I can get into periods of studio anxiety. So it's like, okay,
mhm,
I've committed myself for the day to make the thing, and then I'm going to disrupt myself to take videos of me doing the thing, and I have
mhm.
ADHD, so then I'm not focused on the thing anymore, and I'm editing the video and da 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 da, and I just don't want to
Yeah. And
disrupt.
then you start scrolling Instagram.
Yeah, I have a little box that's like a phone jail that I put my phone in
Ah,
that has like an actual lock,
that's
like a
smart.
major lock on it that I put on while I'm painting sometimes, and then I get like no process shots. So yeah, I think the most difficult part for me as an artist of marketing myself is taking time to document the process,
Mhm,
building that time into my timeline, which is generally usually compressed,
mhm,
and then uh, having myself be consistently present to talk about the work because I
mhm,
love when artists talk about their work. I love when
mhm,
like seeing an artist, seeing their face and connecting with them and hearing about why they made something or just any facet of them making it. I love it so
mhm,
much. I want to consume that and I want to support those artists. And then it's
mhm.
so hard for me to do myself to like get
Right?
on camera to do it. And like
Definitely.
I can be good at it. I've had
Yeah.
success with it. A lot of the pieces that I've promoted in that way have been more likely to sell, but
Mhm.
I don't wanna.
No, I don't want to either. And like, I know we've talked about this a lot with the ADHD and like that
Mhm,
just that attention. And even I found because just going through that perimenopausal shift,
mhm.
I I was really having a hard time. And so I started medicating it and at first you're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm like on the ball, I'm on time." I'm like for the first time in my life I felt time, like
Mhm.
the flow of time. I'm like,
Yeah.
I think an hour just went by. And I'd let an hour. Like how did I
Mhm.
how
Yeah,
I
time
feel like a
flies.
temporal being. This is
Mhm.
wild. Um but as I've gotten more used to it, that's gone away. And now I find it's almost like it's just kind of touching on those symptoms instead of like making that huge difference. But I can't really not use the medication. It's a weird tool because it's not a magic like button that you
Yeah.
press and you're suddenly better. Um, and I find it's very hard for me to put on those blinders and focus on a piece, especially if you're anxious about it and not really engaging and
Mhm.
getting into that flow state. Do you feel like the anxiety holds you back from flowing with the piece?
Yeah, and I can get into, like, procrasti-working,
Oh,
where
yeah.
I'll be, like, researching, uh
Mm,
drying times of paint or researching different Different paints that I want to try or different varnishes that
Mm.
I want to try. Oh my god, I've spent like so much money on varnishes.
Oh, really?
Oh my god. I went through like 2 years of trying to find like the perfect
The
varnish.
perfect
I
varnish.
just spent.
Especially when you've got that like that matte and then you've got the gold. Do you find like did it take you a while to find a good gold varnish?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't varnish the gold. It's
Okay.
an airbrush. I have a gold marker that I decant into an airbrush
Oh,
and then
okay.
spray that. And I don't
Okay.
varnish it.
So you're not leafing.
No,
Okay, I thought you were. I thought you were leafing
I've
it for
leafed
some reason.
before.
Okay.
I've done gold leafing before, and I always have like happy memories of that because my dog would be hanging out in my
Hate
studio. I
it.
can too. That's why I don't do
Yeah.
it. I'd rather suit up and airbrush and get gold dust all over my entire studio than
And you're like, huh.
but my dog used to hang out in my studio, and he would always step in the like little gold leaf bits,
Aw.
and so he'd have these like little golden paws. So
Twinkle toes.
yeah, so I think it's really classy because he's not around anymore. But so
Aw.
I think of that. But yeah, the
Mhm.
material. Oh my god. So being a mixed media artist is such a pain in the ass, and I'm
Mhm.
completely addicted to it. But yeah, I think your original question was, does the anxiety stop me from
Getting into that flow state.
getting into flow state? Yes, because I'll start to get anxious, and then I'll want to pick up my phone, and then I'll just scroll on my phone
Mhm.
sitting in front of the painting while the painting
Mhm.
needs to be painted. And
Comfort scroll.
yeah, it's a comfort scroll. So then I got the
Uh-huh.
phone jail, and the phone jail will hang out at the other side of the studio when I want to take a break to like sit back and get some perspective on it. Is she cross-eyed, that kind of thing? Then I
Yeah.
can pick up my phone.
Mhm.
But the thing that I use most effectively in my studio to combat the studio anxiety is singing. So I put on, I just listen to like the same maybe 10 Tiny Desk concerts.
Mhm.
And if I find that I'm having a day where I'm really having a difficult time with anxiety in my body, because I feel
Mhm.
my anxiety very physically,
Mhm.
having difficulty concentrating, if I
Mhm.
if I just start singing, and I'm not
Mhm.
like an amazing singer, but like it just
Mhm.
helps somatically
Release.
to like get me out of it and get me into a flow state. And
Yeah.
it like the singing and the music distracts the part of my brain
Mhm.
that has the tendency to be anxious so that the rest of me can
Mhm.
concentrate and work on the painting.
I was also a late driver. I didn't really learn to drive because learning to
I don't
drive in
drive. I don't drive.
Vancouver,
It's already
yeah, it
34
would be very similar to Toronto.
hours.
And I do the same thing. I have to sing, I have to have music, to kind of distract that nervous tension. So I totally know what you're talking about. Uh, I I like to I like to do that. I like to sing and I like to dance out some of that feeling
Mhm.
where it just kind of releases. And I don't you we can talk about this as much or as little as you want, but I know you have an autoimmune issue too, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I have rheumatoid arthritis, uh,
Hmm.
and it is very well managed now.
That's good.
So I'm not dealing with the kind of physical pain that I was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
A few years ago, I like could barely move my hands
Uh,
for periods. Like I'd be able to
yeah.
paint for a couple of days, and then my hand would be too swollen to make anything.
Oh.
It was just really scary because that was super unpredictable, and I didn't know
Hmm.
when I'd have the ability to use my body. Um,
Yeah.
so that made me feel a lot more grateful for my studio practice and made me
Hmm.
a lot more dedicated. Like it was the challenge of it. Uh, like I was a less anxious painter when I was battling my autoimmune disease because I didn't have time to be
To
anxious.
think about it.
Yeah,
Yeah. You're just kind of thankful for whatever day
yeah,
you have, right?
yeah.
I don't, I also have an autoimmune disease. But it affects my immune system more. So I'll get really, really sick
Yeah.
sometimes. It affects my voice, right? I have hypothyroidism, so if you hear my voice is all crackly, that's it's normally just that. But
Mhm.
I've also over the years, because it never really stays the same, right?
Yeah.
It evolved a few years back when I was about 35. I started getting alopecia and my scalp would just burn. It was just like so painful.
Mhm.
And I tried everything. I did steroids for like a year, topical steroids to didn't touch it. It was just always painful. I was losing like huge clumps of hair. And I'm like 35. I'm like, I don't want to go bald.
Mhm.
I
You
started
have such
taking,
beautiful hair too.
sorry.
I said, and you have such beautiful hair too.
Oh, well, now I do. It wasn't beautiful
Mhm.
that it was very sad. But I started doing taking CBD oil, and that my doctor was it was not one of those people that was ever gonna tell you to do that. But I was like at that I'd done ice baths, I was doing everything, right?
Yeah.
Changed my diet, did all those things. And I found the CBD oil really helped and helped with that anxiety too. Because I think that's what a lot of feelings, especially if you're I've seen this a lot with like neurodivergent people. They tend to not like know how they feel,
Yeah.
but their body feels it
Oh yeah.
and it like deposits in your body and you're like, "Huh, my hair's falling out, like, maybe I'm like, stressed," and when my doctor told me, "Well, you're probably just, like, stressed," I'm like, "What do I have to be stressed out about?" Like,
Yeah. Like,
I don't understand it, but, um, I found that was very therapeutic, it was the only thing that did anything for me.
yeah. Like I find it can be a bit of a chicken and an egg kind of thing. Uh,
Mhm.
because so the pain component of my autoimmune disease is quite well managed. I still deal with some of it,
Yeah.
but what is kind of remaining is brain fog and fatigue.
Mhm.
Something that I struggle with too. And if anyone's watching this and they're like, "How did she get rid of her pain? I have rheumatoid arthritis too." I take biologic injections and they've completely changed my life. So it's
That's
not
good.
scary. You should do it if you
Mhm.
have the opportunity to and you have an autoimmune disease. But
Mhm.
thank God for Canada.
Mm.
Uh,
Mhm.
but the chick with the anxiety, like inflammation can cause anxiety because it's setting off your body's alarm systems of something that is
Yes.
something is wrong. And so sometimes
Mhm.
I don't know whether or not my general sense of overwhelm of like the to-do list of uh, life and my job and art and stuff is the thing that's making me anxious, or if my body inherently is making me anxious because I'm high in inflammation right now. And so I've stopped trying to figure it out, and now I just know
Mhm.
like, okay, you're you feel the anxiety in your body, go take a break. Like
Mhm.
I'm not great at taking breaks. I'm really trying to
Mhm.
learn to be better at that because I am historically the kind of person that will work until I've run myself into the absolute ground. And that's
Mhm.
a big component of my autoimmune disease and why I have it. Uh,
Yes, absolutely.
but I'm trying to be better at rest and to understand
Mhm.
that a half-hour break can give you a lot more productivity than trying to work through like 2 or 3 hours when it's just not working. Like, just
Yeah.
go drink a glass of water and lay down for like 30 minutes and not on your phone.
Yeah. And that's a tough one, and I think especially for women who, like and I know, people are probably like, "Oh, she's gonna bitch about the woman thing." It's like, yeah, because I've been through so I've had this for since I was, like, 24, 25, so a long time,
Yeah.
16 years, 17 years, something like that, um, and I've gone to my doctor so many times, and they just treat you like, "Oh, it's just a whiny woman, and she's just whining,"
Or worse,
and
super
you
drug seeking.
Yeah, or all your labs are normal. And I mean, Canada's great in some ways, but if you have like a long-term illness, they're not great a lot of times, at
Yeah.
least especially if you're in a rural area. I've found that a lot of doctors are just like so overworked that they're just like, it's you're not dying, so go away,
Mhm.
right? Like, especially if it's something like I'm hypothyroid, but I'm like really hypothyroid. Like there's some people they're taking 20, 30 micromilligrams. I stabilized at 100. Like
Mhm.
when I first started taking replacement hormone, I was like at 300. Which the only other person I ever knew of that was taking 300 micromilligrams of TSH was a lady who had her thyroid removed.
Mhm.
Like it's very debilitating, and it affects so much of your life, and people don't see it, right? It's invisible. It's like you're not physically manifesting something people can see in the real world. So they just think, well, you're whiny, you're just bitching because you want attention. And um, I sat down with my doctor at one of my last appointments, and he's like, "Well, everything looks good." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Look, dude, I am not here because I want to be here or I want attention or I want
Yeah.
drugs.
I'm not here
Like,
because
I
I'm
have
here.
a real problem.
Yeah.
Like, I need you to figure it out." Like, your job. So, yes, it's such a struggle when you have something like that. And again, you're trying to sustain yourself and you're trying to be organized and be all these things are not naturally, especially when your health is an issue.
Mhm.
It can be such a challenge.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And to like give yourself permission to like rest.
Yeah. And
Just rest.
I don't have children either, so I have the
Mhm,
opportunity that I can take that, but for a lot of people
mhm.
don't have that luxury of time.
Yeah. That can be a challenge, definitely. Um, I don't do like activities with my children where we're not really in sports unless that's a school related thing. Like I've tried to make their childhood as pressure free as I can,
Mhm.
um, and give them that opportunity to just be a child.
Yeah.
Whereas I think a lot of people with kids, they really structure their children's free time.
Mhm.
And I've purposefully not done that. I have too many kids to afford to do a lot of the things that other people do with their kids too. So, and it's made my kids have to be creative because, we limit video games. We limit, we don't let, I think one of my kids has a phone, but it's because he works.
Mhm.
Like they're just I tried to bring them up as much like pre-internet as I could, um, because boredom's so important.
Boredom is so important. Uh,
Mhm,
and I think it can be almost painful, especially when you're neurodivergent. Uh,
mhm,
and but it's so necessary. And boredom
mhm,
can be really regulating if
mhm,
you allow yourself to kind of go there. Like my best ideas happen when I'm bored. I remember I used to have like endless ideas for paintings when I used to take the streetcar to work or the subway to work before social media was like really intensely a part of my daily life. Like
mhm,
I still had Instagram and stuff, but it never occurred to me
mhm.
to just like scroll for 40 minutes while I'm on the street
Yeah.
here. I don't know, I'm staring out the window. I'm thinking about the
Mhm,
conversation that I had with so and so, or just like having ideas and just, yeah, creating space for your brain to wander. I think it's
mhm,
maybe one of the only ways to access creativity because I think
mhm,
for a long time, I tried to access creativity through busyness and anxiety
mhm,
to kind of,
mhm,
okay, just make a decision, pick the idea. Um,
mhm.
but that's not my best work. The best work has
Yeah.
happened when the idea kind of is allowed a little bit of space to form. Yeah, boredom. Boredom is important.
Boredom's so important. And like, I find I have to almost make myself turn off the music, turn off the podcast, allow for silence, um, in order to really connect again with that part of myself that's creative, um, because it can be very self-defeating. Even
Mhm.
if you're listening to other artists sometimes and oh, this is how they got success, and you're constantly taking in, but you're never really processing.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something that I've consciously had to do lately is just turn it all off.
Good for you. I really struggle with that. I really, really struggle with that.
Oh, I do too.
Like,
Absolutely.
I love a podcast. I feel like I've always got a podcast or an audiobook going. But as you're describing that, needing the quiet to kind of access the creativity, I'm reflecting on when am I having my ideas? And it's basically always in the shower or the bath, like when I don't have anything else that's demanding my attention. And even when I'm looking for references, trying to come up with an idea, or looking at past image libraries or something like that, I'll have to pause whatever music or movie or something that I've got going on when the idea when the smoke appears.
Yeah. Yeah, catch that smoke. Yeah, definitely. I would say historically my best ideas happen when I'm washing dishes,
Good.
doing something menial.
I
I hate washing dishes too, but absolutely cleaning a house, washing dishes, you're already in a kind of flow state because your
Yeah,
body's doing stuff
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and your mind is just allowed to kind of go.
Mhm.
And I find that and oddly enough, and I've had a lot of this in the last few years, where it's almost like people call it traumatic events or whatever, like a job loss um or someone passing away it's just been the last 3 years has just been constant loss.
Mhm.
Um it's in those moments I find, and maybe it's because there's something inside me that's breaking, that I'll have like a breakthrough idea and it'll solve a problem that I've been trying to solve forever. And I'll be like, cool, this is awesome. Now I know what to do.
Yeah.
And it's like the worst timing.
Yeah.
But I'm also excited because I'm like, oh, I finally figured that thing out.
Yeah, it's almost like when that kind of thing happens, it's almost like during periods of intense adjustment, you're almost operating at a higher like cognitive capacity because you
Mhm. Yes.
have to show up and you have to
Mhm.
survive. And so, yeah, it makes sense that those kind of breakthroughs would happen at that time because you're even at that next level of threshold. And there's,
Mhm.
yeah, the superpowers, like the
So
mom
weird.
lifting the car off the baby. Like,
That must be what it is,
yeah,
because I was like, I don't know why this keeps happening, but like these horrible moments are when it's actually almost like the most growth,
yeah,
like either mentally or just idea wise, get
yeah.
your best brain waves when horrible things happen. That's horrible.
It's human.
It is, yeah, it is. And that's what I think is so interesting, getting to have conversations with other people who experience the same thing. It's like you're not weird. You shouldn't be ashamed.
Mhm.
Like that's just something that happens, especially if you're a problem solver. And we've talked about this because you've had nightmare issues with your mixed media and you've told me how you solved it and I was like, oh, pff, that's crazy.
My varnish. Me and my varnish.
Yeah. You've had some nightmare varnish stories.
Yeah, yeah. I melted half of a painting the night
That's so
before I was due to go to
crazy.
the gallery.
The night before. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That
but
must have been,
I sent it out.
were you up all night?
Uh, yes, I was up all night. It was really early on in my gallery career, and I would like to say that I manage things better now, but again, I don't know, maybe. But it was like I had just attached so much importance to this piece, um, feeling that it would validate this gallery career that I'm trying to have, being that I think it was maybe my third or fourth gallery show, and it just put so much pressure on this piece, and it wasn't dry enough to varnish. And so when I varnished it, it just like I had only varnished one component of it, and that component just completely melted. And so like it really felt like at that time, like my world was gonna end. And it was just like my whole artist career's over.
Oh no.
And I just like I clicked into that like crisis mode thing where it's just like, okay, all right, I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna make it better. And I think it was like 3 a.m. I got to bed, and it was fixed, and I sent it off the next day. But yeah, artist adventures.
Did you get photos before, or were you able to get photos after?
I got photos after. I have like process documentation photos of what it was before.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like the face was up here painted in oil, and then all spray paint all around it, and then there were hands below in a separate component, and I just ended up, those ones melted off, and I ended up sanding them off and then respraying it, so it was just the face still, so it was still cleaning. And I think compositionally it ended up actually working out better. But yeah, what a lesson.
Oh, what a lesson. I remember that. So
Yeah,
I must have been following you for a while, but yeah, like it's interesting how much pressure we put on ourselves when it's like nobody else is ever gonna know. Like nobody else is ever gonna care at all or anything.
And like that was when I was at the height of my varnish obsession, because I got really into feeling like an important component of my work was that the background was matte and that the figure was gloss.
Right.
I don't do that anymore.
No.
And I'm so much more sane.
Yeah.
The paintings are in better condition, and I'm moving less varnish fumes. But yeah, I was just so obsessed with it. And we get really into components that maybe don't matter that much. And that was something that wasn't impacting my work in a hugely positive way, that I just so obsessive about. And when I let it go, creating work became easier.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
The things we learn.
Yeah.
I know I don't even varnish before I send the photos off. Like I'll take the photos and then varnish.
Yeah, and it can be harder to take photos of varnished work. It's like taking photos of the wet work if you're using a gloss.
Yeah, that's what I've found. And I have matte varnish, but I haven't used it yet. I've seen a lot of people have bad experiences with the matte just kind of
Separating.
yeah, like separating. So now I'm a little scared to use it.
I don't have my favorite one beside me, but I switched to a spray varnish, because when I do varnish, I have to varnish each piece separately according to what media it is. So the oil gets one varnish and the spray paint gets another one. But so I use Winsor Newton satin.
Okay.
Love satin, and it's a spray varnish too, so less fragile to the paint film than on.
Absolutely.
But I love a satin varnish. It's so forgiving. If you get a little bit of like dust in your painting, it's not going to show it the same way as a gloss
would.
But I remember feeling so massively elated and comforted when I went to and I don't know if this is gonna sound bad, but I mean it in like the best possible ever way. I
Yeah.
I went to Arch Enemy a couple of years ago to actually go in person because I was a part of their showcase. That was my first show with them, and
Nice.
it was just to me that Arch is like just it's so many cool artists show there. You know, like you're
Mhm.
admiring
Totally.
uh, so many people creating all of these wonderful things, and then getting
Mhm.
to see them in person
Mm.
was mind blowing. One,
I
because you're like
bet.
so excited about the execution, but my point is seeing hair and bits of dress and like
Yes.
little mistakes and the humanity behind the process
Mm.
of these artists was so deeply comforting to me.
Mm.
And like so I am still a perfectionist with my work, but if there's like a teeny mar on something or one line has a little bit of a wobble on it, like it's not
Mhm.
going to spiral the way that it used to before I saw that. Because I wouldn't think any less of these incredible pieces because there's
Mhm.
cat hair in it. I think
Mhm.
even better. I think
Right? Yeah.
I don't know.
I kind of it's interesting like seeing the automation um of art, like these I don't even want to call it artificial intelligence. There's nothing intelligent about it. It's just a search engine, basically. Because I feel like more importance is being based on that very human
Yeah, we're swinging back.
artwork. We
Yeah.
are, I think so. And I've even seen this in like in YouTube where people are starting to put little disclaimers on their videos like nothing about this was generated by a machine. This is 100% human.
Mhm.
Like even this voiceover, it's a human voice. I think that's so cool
Yeah.
that there's such a like aversion to that because I don't know, it reminds me of Dune mostly. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with Dune, but
A little bit. I want to get into it though.
so like so Dune has this whole religion, right? And it's because somewhere in their past there were these thinking machines, which were essentially artificial intelligence and cyborgs, and they almost completely destroyed humanity. So now it's illegal for them to have thinking machines.
Mhm.
So that's why it's very low tech.
Mhm.
They don't have like laser guns, they have swords. You
Yeah.
know, like there so it seems like kind of medieval,
Yeah.
but it's intentionally that way
It's a
because
response.
it's such a rebellion. Yeah, it's become like illegal in a religious context
Mhm.
where you just can't do that. You can't have computers, and there are people that develop. So like the Bene Gesserit, who are like reading minds and emotions and stuff, is because they couldn't come up with technologies.
Mhm.
They had to develop this inner power
Yeah.
to adapt. And so I feel like the art world is starting to realize this and starting to like augment itself to really as a response to AI. I'm really interested to see where it'll go. Because I mean there's so much about being an artist that we're interpreting um not just the now, but we're dreaming up the future. You know, I don't know how much I've gotten really into like quantum physics and like this paranormal stuff lately.
Mhm.
Those are my podcasts. And it's interesting how much of reality is something that we create through what we dream up. So there's some people that think that some of these movies and whatever that envision these apocalyptic things because there's enough people engaging with it. They're like, in a way, these people are like creating this future
Mhm.
because they're dreaming it up. And I'm fascinated by that idea, whether that's real or not.
Mhm.
What does that say about like human creativity? even just our the act of thinking on something, we create a reality.
Yeah.
I've just become kind of like obsessed with this idea
Mhm.
that like our intentionalities are creating things, and I think that that's part of the expression. Would you say that like do you find that in your work or
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
yeah?
just like creating something that didn't exist before, that is completely born of something that is a collection of my thoughts, and then manifesting it into something real is super powerful, I think.
Hmm.
And I also like uh kind of talking about creating your own reality, especially after the last big collection that I did of the protector women with
Hmm.
the weapons. I feel more sure in myself. I feel braver in
Hmm.
myself because I spent so much time uh, constructing these characters and trying to understand what I wanted them to convey, and it made me feel like stronger in myself. So I guess that would be my way of creating reality. It's just
Yeah,
using my work
definitely.
to affect change within myself.
And do you feel like how have people responded to it? Have they felt that too?
There's definitely been a really good response to that collection specifically of people
Hmm.
just being like, "Wow, like that's
Hmm.
well."
Strong women, yeah. But I mean, it's so much more than that. Like when it's so much more than just like, yeah, badass women, right? Like I we see a lot of that in culture for a long time. Like these kick-ass kind of ladies, but what you're talking about is almost like reparenting yourself,
Oh yeah, yeah,
right?
absolutely. I'm not
Yeah.
sure that I have communicated that as effectively as I want to. Like, I
Mhm.
think it's easy for me to write a caption about it,
Mhm.
but that's not the way that it's going to be primarily digested because it's a
Mhm.
visual medium. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like people aren't
Oh yeah.
necessarily always going to take the time to read the caption. So something that I
Mhm.
want to get better at is talking about the work and not just letting it be the visual, even though that's
Yeah.
the easiest and my favorite thing.
Well, that's what this is for, right? Like, I'm terrible at talking to people in like a lucid, linear kind of way. I'm like "Ugh," all over the place, and
That's why we're
um,
good at talking because we're both bouncers. We bounce
yeah,
around.
yeah. I know I've had a few people on, and I'm like, oh man, you're way better at talking than me. Like,
I
way better
love
at talking.
this mode and style of conversation.
Oh,
It's
that's good. Yeah, like that's what I love about just being able to chat with somebody. Because I'm terrible at that too, that snippet kind of thing. Like, especially since like your concepts feel sacred to you.
yeah.
And and when you're talking about your parents, and that's so personal because
Yeah.
your mom's gonna text you at the end, like,
No, it's
what are
good.
you talking about?
No,
You
my
know,
mom's
like,
amazing. My mom's amazing.
well, that's good.
I
Yeah.
actually talked to her about it while I was creating the collection
Hmm.
and asked her if she felt comfortable with me mentioning it.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Absolutely, that's a part of your story. It's a part of my story as
Hmm.
well. But it was formative for you, uh,
Hmm.
impacting the work that you're making. And so, if you're making work that's about uh, resilience, then talking about where that came from is important. And so I'm really grateful to her that she allowed that space for me because I was nervous about uh, talking about that kind of component of the inspiration behind some of these pieces. And
Hmm.
I was nervous to talk to her about it, but she was and ask her if it would be how she would feel because I would
Hmm.
never want to make her feel uncomfortable.
No, for
Um,
sure.
she was totally cool with it, and
That's
she's
awesome.
the best. She's the best.
And you felt like that must have been so healing for both of you
Yeah.
to kind of like it's so interesting when we bring things out into the light and you kind of yeah, that was totally that and now we're different and they're finding more and more that when we rewrite our story the way we want to, it encodes itself on your DNA.
Mhm.
And that's something that you pass on,
Yeah.
which I just think is so cool that we have that ability.
Yeah, it's wild. Like my mom is healing decades or like generations of generational trauma. Like she went through a dysfunctional family upbringing, and then there
Mhm,
was the dysfunction that I mentioned in my upbringing, and she's done so much work to heal and to
mhm.
create space for me to heal too. And it's just like
Yeah,
it's it's very very cool.
yeah. That's real strength, right? Like, um, just being like mature enough to go, actually, this is a problem, and I don't want this anymore. I want it for you. I don't want it for me. I don't want it for any of us. Like, let's change that.
Mhm.
And then to be vulnerable about it and share it with other people. I mean, I think unfortunately our society is so like we're sharing and creating awareness about all these things that it becomes like overwhelming amount of information.
Yeah.
Um, but to create work, um, especially a body of work that isn't like the work that you're doing is something that's going to be there when you're gone,
Mhm.
you know? Um, it's not just a social media post. It's a it's a body of work that it's kind of like we take it for granted that we have all these classic painters' work still like Klimt and but they're such tangible reminders of that person and of what they went through.
And of the viewer and collector's own interpretation too. I think
Mhm,
that that's what's most important to me after my work leaves the studio. It
mhm,
feels like it's the story that's attached to me isn't the biggest importance anymore. It's how the person
mhm.
responds to the piece. Like
Absolutely.
if uh, if I've created a guardian that makes you feel embodied in your power or makes you feel like you're better able to stand up for yourself or access your truth or even validates your anger
Mhm,
in your own experience, your own life. And that's something that you interact with in your day to day. That to
mhm.
me is just such an incredible privilege to myself as an artist and to have created something that facilitates the experiences of others.
Definitely. Do you feel like that's what drew you to portraiture? Is is that whole wanting to create like a totem of some sort?
Totem, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's also why I include so much intense eye contact in my
Mm,
pieces, uh,
mhm.
because I
And
want
that's a no-no. You're not supposed to do that
I
in
love it.
portraiture,
I love it.
right? That
Like,
was the first thing I was told because
really?
I didn't go to school. That was the first thing that a curator told me. She was like, "You shouldn't be doing that. Nobody wants to
So
be
weird.
looked at."
That's so weird. I mean, like, I get it because I've been in my studio when there's
Yeah.
like 8
Angry eyes
yeah,
at you.
like,
Mhm.
staring at
And
me, and
they're all
I'm like, "Okay, this is a lot. This is a lot." And, like, my work is already kind of confrontational visually just on your cones and rods because of the
the
color
red.
intensity, but,
Definitely.
uh, yeah, the eye contact, I want my pieces to be, an opportunity to stop in your tracks and connect back with yourself. That's kind of
Mm,
goal. And like I do the occasional piece where it's like in profile and there's not eye contact. And maybe
mhm,
those are usually when I'm trying to create something that feels a little bit more peaceful.
mhm.
But yeah, most of
I'm
my
thinking of the pink piece.
yeah,
Yeah, and
definitely.
that's even just, like, such a departure from your normal thing too.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
really wanted something that felt a lot softer when I created that. But yeah, most of them are
Mhm.
they're looking at you. They're
Mhm. They're
staring.
looking at you. Yeah. I think it's so interesting that we're seeing such an influx of female artists, and I find the female artists are creating, like, the really bold confrontational work.
Yeah. I think
Have
we're
you
really
noticed that?
responding to the time for sure.
Mhm.
Uh
And
yeah.
kind of being, like, comfortable in your own skin too, like, I don't feel like I was ever not that person,
Mhm.
you know? I always felt like I was, yeah, and maybe maybe this is like just our ADHD thread is like, you're too much.
Hmm.
Like a lot of the time, I was a theater kid, so I was always like, ta-da, ta-da, I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I feel like that there's a lot of women that are creating really bold, very like visually, you have nowhere to rest on the piece kind
Yeah.
of work.
Yeah. Work that is not afraid to take up space, that doesn't necessarily feel like it needs to be decorative. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I've had people that I know suggest that if I painted in softer colors, or if I painted softer subject matter,
Mhm.
or if I painted differently, that
Mhm.
I would be selling more and that I would have more success. And maybe that would be true, but I
Mhm.
want to stand out for making the work that I want to make. And
Mhm.
uh, diluting it, even though that might be more commercially viable, is
Mhm.
not something I want to do.
Have you ever tried it? Have you ever tried doing a piece that you felt diluted your aesthetic, your emotions, or your feelings?
If I have, it's been because I've wanted to make something fun. Like if I
Mm,
want a fan piece or like a pop
right.
culture piece or something like that, and
Mhm.
I'm still using my aesthetic and I'm just having
Mhm.
fun with it. But I
But I
think
don't feel like those though no, I would say like, yeah, okay, maybe you have done something a little different like with the Beatrix piece,
mhm.
but I don't feel like she's in any way different than your tooth and nail pieces.
Yeah, like I think that she probably was the predecessor to some of
Probably.
the vibes that came into that piece. But
Mhm.
in terms of creating something that's a total departure from my aesthetic, I've tried
Mhm.
it when I was wanting to take commission cash,
Mhm.
and I don't think I even finished them. I didn't even like. I think I gave
Oh,
the deposit back because I didn't like, and
couldn't
I have the
couldn't
luxury
track
of
it.
being able to do that because I have a day job.
Yeah.
So no shade at all to anyone that does commissions,
Mhm.
and has that flexibility, because I do
Mhm.
really admire that. It's just not
Mhm.
something that I have.
Mhm.
And that's like I wish in a lot of ways that I had more versatility, but
I think you could access it if you wanted to. I know that I personally done that, and
Mhm,
I went through like a phase, especially after the very dark work that I did for my solo show, Apocalyptica, and then I did a bunch of soft work after that
mhm.
because I felt like kind of a failure because it like people liked it, but I think I sold one piece, and I just felt like uh, maybe this wasn't that good. Um, I did have some feedback where I was told very much the same thing, like, this just isn't what people want to hang on their wall, which after I've hung it on my wall, I get it, right? I get why people don't want a bunch of dark, angry, naked ladies on their wall. Like, I understand. Um, but I don't think people resonated with it as
I
much.
loved that series. I loved that series so much, uh, as evidenced by me buying the calendars.
Yeah. Yeah, people liked it. I mean, um, but I think that that was an interesting I mean, I'll try anything once, unfortunately. I don't really I don't have I probably should, but I don't really have like the sense to stay with like a brand specific look. I'll just try everything. And
I, honestly, I do feel like I see the through line in your work a lot of the
that's
time, even when you're looking at different subject matter or exploring different things. Like I feel like I always see a pretty high contrast in your pieces, and I always,
Mhm.
always, always, I think probably one of the hallmarks of your style for me is a sense of atmosphere, like
Mhm.
create like literal, actual like air, like the way that you paint air and the way that light passes through air, and like the
Mhm.
gradients that you use for sunsets and skies and things like that, and the way that
Right.
light touches your figures. Like I feel like that's very you. I feel
Yeah.
like that's a visual identifier for me.
Well, that's good. I'm glad something stays consistent because I definitely have played around a lot. Um, Kind of probably to my detriment, but that's okay. I don't know. I have a hard time to committing to that, committing to a certain palette. Um, but I don't know. Um, I don't really have a solid goal for my work. I just want to create things that make 6-year-old me happy. And that's really it for me. I don't know do you feel like you have a goal that you're striving towards or some kind of like career defining moment or award or
Um, I
stride that you're looking to hit?
I think a career defining moment would just be consistently supporting myself with art funds,
Mhm.
and being able to be completely in control of my time.
Mhm.
I, like uh, I really love my day job. I have a lot of opportunity to be creative within it, and it affords me like the ability to just interact with artists a lot of the days. But there are
Mhm.
components that are administrative that are less fun. So I think
Mhm.
uh, being able to do what I want when I want to do it is like my artist goal. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
totally.
And yeah, I think in terms of like creatively, just until I get tired of it, and that hasn't
Mhm.
happened, and it
Mhm.
still feels really stimulating to me. So until that changes, like maybe one day I'll wake up and I'm sick of the blue people and I'll want to paint something else. But sometimes I do get sick of my process because the process
Mhm.
is really involved. Um,
Mhm.
and when you're asking if I've tried doing things in a different style or something that isn't rigidly attached to my style, um, sometimes I want to. Like
Mhm.
when I'm talking about the commissions, and not enjoying the commissions, it's just because it's that same like stubborn thing of like I just want to do what I want when I want it, when I want
Yeah,
to. But
absolutely.
if I was able to be an artist completely full time and have space creatively to experiment and look at different aesthetics and be more playful, I think that would be something that would be really valuable to my practice because there's not a lot of
Mhm.
play um,
Mhm.
in my studio, if at all. And I think that that's
Mhm.
something that I miss because I think there's a lot of creativity and playfulness. And so because I kind
Mhm.
of press my time between deadlines and a day job and just being a human and also all of the wasted time that comes with the ADHD tax, uh,
Yes.
there's not really space for me to play. So I'm actually thinking
Mhm.
about with a solo that I have coming up, doing a couple of pieces that are more like studies that
Mm.
as arduous as the kind of the more finished pieces, and
Mhm.
that makes me feel like deeply insecure. Thinking
Really?
about doing something that's looser, that makes me feel
Yeah.
really weird and exposed.
Mm. You know, I think it was I can't remember if it was the jealous curator or it was someone like that
Mhm.
who said they got a sketchbook and they just put all of that kind of stuff in there and nobody saw it and nobody needed to see it. It was just for them, but that was how they built their other work.
Yeah,
And it's something that I'm always like, I need to do that. Um, and I really want to start doing that more because I feel like that's a good incubation pot to put your ideas in.
yeah,
And I feel like people that paint from a study tend to get a more them looking piece than say like I'll paint from my reference and then I'll extrapolate out of it,
mhm,
but I'll do it from the reference. So I feel very married to my references.
yeah,
And and I feel like that can be very stifling. Um, yeah, so I want to start doing that more where I create a study and then paint from the study and
Mhm,
then only refer back to the reference if I need clarification,
mhm.
because I feel like that could be a hard thing to do, especially if you're a figurative realist painter. It's hard to kind of like not pay attention to those details.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I get exactly what you're saying.
Mhm,
Where you're like, if you have a digital reference, you're translating it to your hand. And then
mhm.
if you have a study, it's already in your hand. You're translating your hand into your hand.
Yeah.
So it's just
Yeah.
the style.
Mhm.
Does that is that
Yeah, that's totally what I yeah. And the more I study like people like Sargent, people like who did took like years of studies to build a final piece, the more I'm like, that's why he could just do that line and that was his finger, you know, and it was fine. And he liked and that's what makes it so brilliant, is
Mhm.
it's like it's more about that maker's mark than
Yeah.
it is about perfectly interpreting reality.
Oh yeah. I love the little things that you can tell make an artist's work theirs. Like when I
Mhm,
worked for the live painting company Art Battle, I used to be the online host for
mhm,
their competitions, and I'd see all of these artists painting, and my job was to comment on them as they were painting. And sometimes you wouldn't be able to see an artist; you just see their hand and the marks that they were making, so you couldn't tell which person was painting. But
mhm,
some of them, if you have your own style, just you can tell just by the way that someone's making a
mhm,
mark, and that is just like, oh, that's the sparkle, that's the magic, and that's something that I just love about artists. Like my work is really tight, but
mhm,
I love work that is completely opposite to that. Like I love such a breadth of styles and subject matters. Uh,
mhm.
just because I'm so inflexible with my own work. Enjoy and really, really admire flexibility in
Mhm.
and style and intuition and intuitive mark making in other artists.
So do I. I feel like my work is too tight too. And the more that I see the generated slop and, you know, the flex of very realistic work, the more I'm not happy with my work that's very tight. The
Mm,
more I'm like, I wish that I was more spontaneous, or I wish I was less married to my reference. And I feel like stuff stays on my easel longer than it should, and I work and overwork things longer than I should
mm,
because of that predilection to details and to wanting to make it so perfect.
yeah.
Which also is why I get anxious about it.
Hmm. And yet we continue to
Oh,
return
yeah.
to the studio.
And yet we still do it. Why
Yeah.
do we do it? I know, it sucks. I think that was a big reason why I started just like drawing my reference straight on the panel,
Hmm.
to kind of give myself permission to not be perfect. Um, I don't know if other people do that. I know that it's easier for small works. It's hard when you're scaling things larger
Yeah.
to do something like that.
Especially
I
when
just
it's like humans.
it's so big too. It's like, how do you I don't know. I don't love my ability to draft. Like I don't think I'm the greatest drafts person in the world. I feel like I can draw this scale pretty decently.
Mhm.
Um, but when you're talking about like a huge piece, I don't like gridding. I freaking hate gridding. And projectors are imperfect. Um, But yeah, I find that hard when you get up to scale. And I know I've noticed even with your solo work, you keep things to a certain scale. Do you find that that's just how you like to work better is like in smaller scale?
So yes, uh,
Hmm.
and I sized up to, like, you know how every artist kind of has their like their go-to size that feels really good to them.
Hmm.
Many years, mine was 12 by 16, and then I started painting more often in 16 by 20, and now 12 by 16 feels too small. Uh,
Mm,
yeah, I don't know. I do like keeping things pretty small, but I think a lot of that is based around shipping.
absolutely. I was just gonna say shipping plays a huge role.
Like, I'm thinking of doing a pretty big piece for a solo that I have coming up at Modern Eden, because I want to
Hmm.
have one kind of showstopper, like
Yes.
big piece that they can hang in the entrance. And I've
Hmm.
been thinking of doing like a full complete body, which I never do. Like, I don't think I
No,
ever paint
never
below
seen that.
hip, I think is the
Yeah,
lowest.
it's always bust,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
And so yeah, thinking about that and
that's
thinking about painting
exciting.
bigger feels really exciting, feels really good. And then
Yeah.
there are some of the practical reasons why I don't paint bigger,
Hmm.
which is the bigger pieces, like anything bigger than an 18 by 24, I have to gesso and sand the panel myself. And I
And you hate it.
hate it. I hate it so much. I hate it more than anything. I just cannot. It's like the worst sense. Like, even I'm fidgeting even more just thinking about it. It's the worst sensory ick I've ever encountered in my life is sanding gesso, uh,
uh,
and I hate it so much. So I avoid it when I can. But I have done. I think the biggest piece that I've done over the last couple of years was 24 by 36. So that was like big.
it's pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the biggest pieces that I've done in the last little while were, well, I did a big landscape, but I don't count that. It's not the same doing a big landscape. Not for me anyway.
I think
Um,
the aluminum pieces that you've done are like big, right?
they're 24 by 24. And those were big. But so light. Like when you paint on aluminum, so light. I've debated about putting this review video out there. I bought this panel from a Canadian company, and I was thinking, well, the place is great, it's Canadian. I love buying from Canadian suppliers if I can,
Mhm.
right? Most of my panels, when I do buy panels, they are from Paul and Gottschalk, which is like a Montreal-based um, place, and they're super light. I've never had an issue.
Mhm.
Well, I went to this other supplier, just wanted to try them. They're kind of newer, and I won't give their name because I started filming a video, and I really like was prepared and thought 100% that I was gonna love him.
Yeah.
But it's so fucking heavy, Morgan. Like the thing must weigh 25, 30 pounds.
Yeah. How do you ship that?
How do you ship it? How do you, and like everything you and I do, we ship. I don't sell
We're,
anything locally.
we're yeah, pop surrealist artists in Canada, we're shipping out.
Forget about it.
Yeah, we're
Even
not
even
showing.
just portraiture,
Yeah,
like even just traditional portraiture,
yeah, for sure.
I'm shipping it out because yeah, there's just not the market for it in Canada. And I got Sandy, my husband, to come out, and I'm like, hold this. And he's like, whoa, this is like a tabletop. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to give bad reviews. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know who this is for.
Yeah,
How do you hang that on a wall?
yeah.
Like you got to find a couple of studs. And like I I I know, and I've talked to curators who were like, these people love this piece and they paid like 20 grand, 10 grand for this piece, and they took it home and it clashed with their couch. So they sent it back. And I was like, so you have this threshold, right? Where maybe 1 to 3% of the population is interested in that echelon of work,
Mhm.
right? And they're willing to shell out the money, and they take it home, and you tell them, look, like you have to hang it in this particular way, and then they can't find a stud there. Well, then you're returning this piece, and I'm just like, I don't know who this is for.
Yeah.
It's like just baffling to me. Like, I don't, it's so thick. It's solid wood. It's like that thick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have
And
material lows. Yeah,
I don't
material lows are
understand.
such a big component, and I spend
Absolutely.
so much brain power on it. Like way
And probably a lot of
more.
money.
Yeah, like I just bought so many panels from that I'm getting from the UK because they're I got a sample of them and it was like, oh, it's my dream panel. I'm not gonna have to sand it. But
Oh, perfect.
like I'm like throwing it on credit. I'm like, I'll deal with it later.
Yeah, I'll deal with it
I
later.
sell some of
Oh
these.
yeah. There's that debt piece, right?
Yeah.
Like that guy who's talking about his debt. Yeah, like you're gonna go into debt. I still have debt from buying panels from a few years ago.
Mhm.
I still have the panels too because I'm too chicken shitty. I have this really
Like
cool
Avalon
panel,
Patrick, like triple primed linen kind of thing.
right? I no, it's a wood panel, but it's a
Oh, it's
triangle.
Tricel.
And I'm like, I love you, but I'm like so chicken to
Yeah,
actually paint on it
I've never
because
painted on a Tricol panel. I'm really curious to try them.
these guys,
Mhm.
they're great because they have like a solid wood. I swear to you, I'm not paid to say this, but I use them all the time and they've been really good to me. Like when I was in the Okanagan, there was no one retail that sold them, and I got a hold of them and I was like, look, I can't get these panels here. Um, how can I buy these from you? And they sold them to me wholesale.
Oh,
So
amazing.
that was really amazing. But I really like these because they're really lightweight. Like we're not like maybe a pound or two. And it's got a good solid um cradle, which I really like. The uh circular panels from Apollon Gotrek, again, like very lightweight. Uh so this is this piece. But these are like a composite material. So the only thing that I kind of, and this is just gets back to me being weird about things. Um, if I want to gild this, which I did, you do have to fill and sand and fill and sand and fill, and then you have to gesso and sand it, gesso and
Mhm.
so I'm always looking for something else so I don't have to spend insane amounts of time being absolutely ridiculous about the cradle on the circular panels.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, again, that's just me. I don't, this is, this doesn't sell the piece. It's just me.
Have you tried wood banding?
Wood banding.
Yeah, you can buy
Oh,
like
like a veneer?
yeah, like
I
do an
have not.
unfinished veneer, and then it can come with
Oh,
wood
that's
glue
so
already on
sweet.
the back, and then you peel it off, put it
Oh my
on,
gosh.
incredible. But yeah, I know what
Whatever.
you're
That's
talking
so
about.
smart.
I don't like the cradle on those on the wooden Apollon Gotrek either, and they're
Yeah,
expensive too for
they
the
are
side
expensive.
not to be finished.
They are expensive. They're not cheap. Yeah, but I haven't found any circular panels without that composite material. So that was why I was trying this other product. And oh, they're like, oh yeah, we don't use that, but it's so fucking heavy.
Mm,
Like it's so heavy.
I love
I'm
them.
like, I don't know who this is for, man, but okay. Um, yeah, anyways, I like them. I think though, for whenever I can, I prefer the aluminum dye bond because it is weightless in comparison and
Yeah.
you can do massive pieces. Like I have a massive piece hanging up in my in my entryway. I guess I have done a big piece recently. I'm just not finished it. Um, but it's got to be like 3 by 2 feet, and it weighs less than it probably weighs about the same amount as this panel.
I love that piece.
Do you?
Yeah, I love that piece. I love the
Oh,
copper
thank
in
you.
it.
Sorry?
I said I love the copper in it.
Oh, yeah.
Did you put that
Yeah, it's,
one in the group chat?
did I put it? I think I did because I
Yeah,
was trying something
yeah,
different.
definitely.
But I found like it's so funny. Like you never know what people actually like because I felt like it wasn't a successful piece,
Hmm.
because it's like, oh, you'll post it and people are you have like 20 people that are like, cool. And I think I submitted it to some juried shows and I got rejected. And I was just like, well, I guess it sucks.
I hate that. There's a piece on my wall right now. I'm gonna take her down.
Yeah.
There's a piece that I made in 2021 that I love. I love this piece, and
Yeah.
it has not gotten any love. It's never gotten any sale interest. I think it's too minimalist for people, but like
Hmm.
sometimes the pieces that don't resonate with anyone else are the ones that you are just like, what the hell?
Right?
Like I'm mad. I'm mad that nobody likes this piece.
Right. Someone has to buy it from Morgan now.
Yeah. If you're on the chat, let's make some love. Yeah, I mean, I have nowhere to store finished pieces, so I often will keep them on my studio wall, but covered in glassine because when I do the airbrushing, like pigment dust that's on stuff. But I love this piece.
Yeah,
Nobody likes it.
I like it. I
Thanks.
just I'm just broke too.
Right? I think it's funny when we're talking about like uh, artists and like connecting sense of worth to how many paintings sell and things like that, and
Mhm.
audience level of success, and if people are paying attention and stuff like that. So much of being an artist is forgetting that uh, there are so many people that absolutely love your work. They're just not in
Yeah,
a position to buy it. Like I would have a
yeah,
big piece of yours if I
right?
was rolling in it.
Right?
Like I
Yeah,
feel
I
really
would
lucky
have
that I
I
have
would
like
have
a small
any piece
original
of
of yours.
yours.
I
Yeah,
love
like I have this piece, I remember painting it and thinking, this is it. This is my new thing that
it.
I'm
Mhm,
gonna do. And is like on a little 8 by 10 aluminum panel. I
mhm.
still look at it and I'm like, fuck yeah, I painted that.
Yeah.
And I still feel good about it, but I submitted this to a juried thing and the curator told me that she didn't like the hand in it and that the hand was like no good and whatever and that I should either get rid of it or change it. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
Right?
I like my
No,
piece.
I like it. I think this is cool. And like she's like, yeah, there's something wrong, like the foreshortening. And I was like, that's the way the hand looked still.
Mhm,
Right in the reference. And whatever. This is a friend of mine. We went to like an arts kind of Bible school together. And
mhm,
she has this tattoo that says heaven and earth. And can't remember. I think that it's because I think her daughter's name is Heaven. And I just like that it to me it's such a hopeful piece because in the very background there's like just everything's decrepit and falling apart. Like the
Oh,
world
nothing
around her
sounds so good.
has like yeah, the world around her is like fallen apart, but she's still like holding on to the light and onto the hope and
Mhm.
like that's just always something that I wanna kinda capture in my work is
Yeah.
because I think um, culturally, I feel like the world around us is always trying to tell us this is the end, and, because people are easy to shape when they're afraid.
Yeah.
right? It's
Absolutely.
if people spend more money, people are more impulsive, they'll believe things easier. Like I was watching this one guy, he's like he worked for the CIA forever as a personality profiler.
Mhm.
And so he would work with like extracting information from people, but without them knowing. It wasn't like an interrogator. He was just someone who would go out into the field and like get information from people that they would just kind of he would use their subconscious against them. And he said if you go through he was talking to his son. He's like scroll through your Instagram feed and he's like okay, this post he's not looking at the phone. He's like this post is going to make you laugh. Scroll to the next one. This one is going to make you cry. This one's going to make you angry. Now you're going to get an ad.
Yeah.
And he was saying it's because essentially that it's like a principle from hypnosis where you take people through these extreme ups and downs. So when you're being hypnotized, they'll hypnotize you, like you'll be under, and then they'll bring you out of it. And then they'll put you down and bring you out. And because every time you do that, you go deeper and
Mhm.
deeper and deeper into the mind. And then you can suggest something to that person, like quit smoking,
Yeah.
and it will change that person's mind.
So it's like,
And I was
yeah,
like,
it's
"That's
trees
so
early conversations.
powerful."
Yeah.
Like, that's such a powerful, we become very suggestive when we're going up and down throughout these emotional states.
Mhm.
And I feel like the media well, I don't feel like it. We know that's what the media is trying to do, to get us to be good little consumers. And, so that's always where, like, I want my work to feel anchored in the sense of everything else can be garbage, but this isn't different.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
I see
I
that
can
in your work
definitely
too.
thank you. I can definitely
Yeah.
see that in your work, and I think that it's something that I really, really enjoy about your pieces, especially the pieces that touch on uh, like technology and apocalypse themes, is that sense of world building. I think
Mm,
you do a really, really good job at creating a sense of place in that world and using small symbols and tweaks and mentions and stuff to
mm,
create that broader messaging. Yeah, I really,
mm.
really like that about your pieces.
Well, thank you. I know my whenever I think like, what am I doing? Why am I still doing art? Um, the guy for me that always kind of brings me back is Frazetta, because he had that sense of world and story building. And he would always paint subjects in these dire situations. And when people would ask him about it, like there's this one where this woman is she's in the ocean and she's confronted with this great white shark and it's called Requiem for a Shark. Like that shark's got it coming for him. Like he's gonna die, you know? And like to have that sense of hope for humanity, and that like sense of like he doesn't know what's gonna hit him. Um, I love that. I love that sense of power and optimism um and what you're talking about with the tooth and nail pieces, I feel like is very much that of like, no, you're not going to shape me. I'm who I am.
Yeah,
Mhm.
standing in that presence. And it's funny, I think that we have such an opposite way of the way that we use backgrounds. Like you're putting in so many context clues and
Mm,
creating that world building,
mhm,
which I deeply, deeply admire and really like. And in my pieces, I'm using the absence to create
mhm,
confrontation. Like the
uh-huh,
I'm using the minimalism to
mhm,
emphasize the inescapable stare of the figure. And like
absolutely.
not that this scene has had an influence on my pieces, but it feels
Mhm,
like a way to kind of describe it is like like Elle in Stranger Things when
When she's
she's underwater, she's just in that blank
oh,
black
okay.
space. Like I
Right.
feel like I envision my characters sometimes in just this red existence, and they're the only thing there
Mhm.
that is like a sense of power.
Like crystallized.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I can see that in your work, definitely. Um, I always want to eliminate the backgrounds. Like I want to.
But you're so good at them.
I'm like just so too literal. Sometimes I feel like that holds me back sometimes. I'm always trying to eliminate. um and I love that you can tell a story with just like someone's shirt and their face. Like I don't know how many people can actually do
Yeah. Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's something else. That's a skill. Yeah. Do you feel like that's from that graphic design kind of background or
Um, no. I don't know. I don't know where exactly it came from.
Mhm.
That because I don't have a background in graphic design, but I feel like
Mm.
my pieces do.
Yeah,
Like
they
because I
come from somewhere.
yeah, like I use a lot of like really intense like minimalist symbols. Like I'm like if I've got a woman with a mace over her shoulder, like
Mhm.
I'm distilling the visual of that out of like there's no shades on it. It's just the pure
Yeah.
shape of it.
Mhm.
Um yeah, I'm not 100% sure where that comes from, but yeah, it's I think just that visual language that I am always pushing and pulling against. And recently, I've started doing more clothing that has like the three dimensionality that isn't just the flat planes, and really
Mhm.
enjoying that and enjoying the challenge of that.
Yeah, the challenge definitely is. I know I've been doing some clothing and just trying to walk that line between where it looks like what it should, but it's not distracting,
Hmm.
right? Is a hard one, and um, I find myself painting, repainting, painting, repainting, just to get that sense of looseness because I find it's very tricky. I know some people have that innately and they can just do one pass
I
and they're
love
like,
people. I
I
admire
know, I'm
those
like,
people.
oh,
Not me
I
though.
not me. No, that's not me. I have to really like get outside of myself to be able to do anything loose like that.
Mhm. Yeah, I can't recall the last time I did something like that. I think maybe 10 years ago, the last time I did a live painting competition. So I used to do
Mm,
the art battles. That's
yeah.
how I started with them. But yeah, I haven't painted loose since. I'm such a yeah. That's why I want to do some
Wow.
studies to have smaller pieces in the upcoming collections to stretch myself
Mhm.
creatively to challenge myself to do something that's a little looser. So I think I might do
Mhm.
try to do some gouache or pastel studies on tinted blue paper.
Oh, okay. That should be fun.
Yeah, so we shall
Uh,
see.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what loose Morgan looks like.
Me
Because I'm
too. I have never met her.
well, it's funny, like, I have this one painting, and every time I look at it, I'm like, how I did that? Like, I did it within 4 hours, and it's like it's only about 9 inches. No face. It's just like this chick in her bedroom just chilling with a balloon. And I love everything about it, but I don't know how to do it again. Like, I don't know. I think I was really tired because I didn't finish till like 4 in the morning. And uh yeah, I just remember thinking like, I don't really want to live like that. I don't want to like paint out of that sense of delirious like tiredness all
Yeah.
the time.
But
But
but maybe it flowed differently because there was less opportunity for editing.
yeah, definitely. It was really just yeah, kind of and I think like my favorite form of painting is alla prima. Like
Mhm.
I love that idea. I don't love how I paint sometimes because it's so many layers. So like just intense in that way. Um like you were talking about the process, how you feel like it weighs you down sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I definitely feel that way. Like I just spend too much time. Kind of like what we're saying about the panels. Like I spend so much time on this and it's totally free. Like I'm just being ridiculous. I want to I don't want to just give people like a beautiful picture. I want them to be able to hold it, touch it, and it feels good in their hands.
Mhm.
Um, I think a lot of figurative painters, especially in like the group of people that we kind of are in, are probably along the same lines. We're just all very obsessive about the objects that we're selling to people. And there's a part of me that wishes I wasn't like that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, like
Mhm.
I wish I didn't spend an arm and a leg on panels from Britain.
Right?
I wish
That's
that
insane.
I wish that I had it in me to sell less finished paintings, but
Mhm.
I just don't because I feel like I want it to be represent like it's a luxury object.
Yeah.
Why you're spending a lot of money on it, and I want to make sure that I'm like respecting the gallery when I send them something. But like,
Um,
wouldn't my life be just so much easier if I like just painted on shitty panels?
yeah. Or if you like I put like an obsessive amount. I don't know if I don't know if you're like this too, but and you probably are. But like I will
Love that
I
baby.
will do
Oh,
like
that's so nice. That's such a nice detail.
I do like the red on the back, like I do 2 or 3 coats of I'll do a coat of like white gesso and then I'll do red and then so then the red is for here too. And then I'll gild it and then I'll coat like clear coat this.
Mhm.
Is it necessary?
No, but does
No,
it feel good? Does
but
it feel
does
like
it
a
feel
complete
good,
piece?
right? Like
Yeah,
it just yeah, I think that that's how I think that's mostly what it is. It's
yeah.
and like that whole needing to have and I see this a lot with
That's so nice doing the
right,
backs like that. I never worry about the backs.
you
I'm
know,
just like
no.
so over it by that time, but that's so freaking nice.
I do it all first.
Mm.
I do it all first because I found over the years in dealing with deadlines that if I don't put the hang wire and everything on first, by the time I get to the show and the front is still wet, like I can't lay it down and
Mhm.
put that. So I just do all that stuff first.
Yeah.
Um, I kind of reverse engineer everything. Otherwise, I just don't have time for the finishing stuff after.
Yeah. I feel like I don't have the brain space for some of those things after you've done like the sprint of making it. I find
Mm,
sometimes the last like 10% to finish it and make it like perfect is
mhm,
I get resistant to that because I'll like there'll be maybe little lines between my stencil layers where the panel is showing through and there's just like a little stripe of white and I need to touch that up before I send it to the gallery. Do I ever
mhm.
want to do that? No,
No,
it's not
no,
fun anymore. I've done all
no.
the fun part.
Yeah, I know. I think that's why I have to do it all first and then reward myself with the painting part.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I won't. And I always, and I never get the chance to go and see. these pieces in person. So
Mhm.
I never really get the chance to like talk to the curator and like see what the backs of other people's work is. I don't know. So then I just overdo it.
Yeah, that was like me with the surprise and going to Arch and seeing a cat hair in the varnish of one of these artists that I'd followed for so long and admired so much, and I was just like, "Oh my god, they're human!" Yeah,
Oh,
I need to
absolutely.
stretch a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. That actually reminds me of I can't remember his name for the life of me, but you'll know his work because he always does these like landscapes and then puts like a whale in it or a shark.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I think Christopher Austin might be.
Maybe it's him. And
Something.
he recently lost his dog Winston, and he was taking his hair and like purposefully putting it in each piece's wet paint, and
Oh.
he's just like forever Winston and just like putting it into his work.
Mhm.
And I'm like, how much more meaningful is that to people like knowing they got a piece of your little sweetheart, you know? I love that. I thought that was so cute. Yeah. Well, we have been talking for almost 3 hours, and if you
Yeah.
need to go,
I'm sorry
like,
about you so much. I have trouble sitting for a long time,
I know, right?
but I've super enjoyed this so much.
Yeah, it's been so cool, just to get to talk to you. And I think I actually asked all the questions I have on my little board. So
Amazing.
amazing.
Amazing. This has been so much fun.
Yeah, it was great to finally like talk in person because I feel like we've corresponded for so long. I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever actually spoken to you in person.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I know. Yeah, or like I think I voice messaged you. I think that's the closest we've
Yeah.
ever gotten to actually talking.
And now here we are, 3 hours later.
I know, right? It's
Yeah, it's been
very
fun.
cool for me to just yeah, have this opportunity. So thanks for coming on and chatting and telling uh, us your soul all about your work. Like,
Thank you.
so
And to you
cool.
too. I feel like I learned so much about your work and like, yeah, just what a cool opportunity and platform. So thanks for having me.
Yeah. So that's cool. It's cool. Thank you, YouTube. Looking at you. And I find it for me anyways, it's so much easier to just have long content. Um, because I hate editing and I hate being polished,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah,
I
I
just
felt more comfortable coming on after seeing bits of the previous chats because I was like, oh,
Mhm.
I can just be me. I don't have to like prepare answers. We're just like we're talking because we're
Oh
friends.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally. I don't really prepare much. I was like, I should probably have like gone on her website 15 minutes before we started. Like, I've just been so like it's just been such a just like a poop show lately.
Yeah.
So, um, but yeah, I'm just so glad that I'm able to do this and facilitate a bit of real life.
Well, I'm excited to
Yeah,
hear about who you have coming on next because I bet that I'll
yeah.
throw that on in my studio while I've got too much painting anxiety to be in my own head.
Yeah, and you know what? I haven't even put up my new schedule, but I want to say I think that it's Regina, and I forget her last name. But we were in like an art collective last year. That was what that mermaid painting was from. Yeah, that one that you think you got that one on auction. That mermaid painting was from that collective, and like I don't even remember what it was called now. So that's how clued in my brain is. Um, so it's Regina, and then I think the week after is um and just the most amazing artist, Robert Sullivan is
Oh
going
my
to be
God, I
chatting
love
with
Art.
us, and Robert
He's
is
so
amazing.
friendly too, and he's so
He's
like willing to share like technical stuff. He's just a really nice guy. And
Amazing.
he sends me Lord of the Rings memes.
That's awesome. I know I'm so excited about having Robert on. I was thinking about it the last person I chatted with, and I'll probably mention it again because Robert, you and Robert have been these two people that I know I can go to at any time and be like, anyways, I'm done. And you'll be like, no, you're not. You're just, just like you can't give up. You're not allowed. And he's just been awesome. And for people who don't know, Robert Sullivan has been painting for 30 years. Um, he's a professor in Maine, a professor of art in Maine, and I think Maine University, something like that, some big deal. And he's so grounded and so down to earth. He's like he'll just chat with anybody about and like I've seen so many professors of art who don't have a practice and are giving terrible advice
Yeah, and he
to
has a
new artists.
thriving practice. Like
Thriving
yeah,
practice.
he's here all
Yes.
the time, and he's so freaking talented.
So talented and just has so much that he's trying to say with his work that and so underrated. Like yeah, very underrated guy. Great work. Everyone should go check out Robert too because I'm so jazzed about that. And of course, I'm excited to talk to Regina. I've been following Regina for a long time, and after that, I don't think I have anybody else booked. So I'm gonna have to figure that out because I've just been booked solid up until May. And yeah,
Well, I
I
love
don't
that.
know.
You got a podcast. You got a
I
podcast.
know. I should probably put it on like a podcasty type, but then I'd have to figure things out. Have to like,
Yeah.
how do you take the audio out?
Or you can
All right.
put a video on Spotify.
Oh, can you?
I think
Okay.
so.
All right. Well, I guess I should maybe figure those things out.
You will. You'll get to
I
it.
will eventually. All right. Well, thank you for joining us, Morgan. Again, Morgan Booth Art. Go and check out her Instagram and see her work because it definitely deserves to be seen and really like taken in. I know we've shown a few little pieces, but like I I want to flash things up on the screen, but at the same time I don't because I really want
Yeah,
people
you're
to
directing.
go and like read those captions and delve in deep and yeah, just kind of absorb it um because it really deserves that. And if you do get a chance to see your work, where can we see your work in person?
It's an online show, Poetic Tiger, opening on May 16th, I think.
Fantastic.
And then after that, I'll have a piece in the Masquerade show, which is the annual portrait show at Modern Eden. And that's opening at the beginning of June. And then I'll have a piece at Antler Gallery, which is a collaboration with ThinkSpace, in June as well. And then if you're looking to get into my solo work, I'll have a solo upcoming at Modern Eden in October.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, the congratulations. That's a lot of
Yeah.
really awesome galleries to be in.
Thanks. Thank you. I feel really,
yeah.
really lucky to be able to work with them. They're super cool.
So yeah, and wishing you all the sold out vibes. I know Caroline there, she just sold out Neon Dream, which I've seen her sell out before, but I was like,
she sold out
crazy.
quick.
She
Yeah.
sold out really quick.
Yeah.
Her work is mind-boggling. I don't know how you do that. And like at the scale she'll do things is so crazy. But yeah, sold out vibes all the way. Hopefully you just sell out. That would be so awesome
the
for
money
you.
on these panels, man.
Right? Like the amount of time you spend on those panels, they need to like Just
Yeah.
sell
Yeah.
out. Yeah,
So if
totally.
you're watching this and you feel like doing that at me, hit me up.
Right?
But,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Lifting you up, Morgan. So yeah, so okay, so we need to look out for Poetic Tiger, get on those mailing lists and check them out. Yeah, Poetic Tiger is pretty awesome because it's online. And so that really frees up artists to not have to ship to the gallery,
Yeah.
right?
It's
Especially if you're a Canadian, this is a big deal for Canadian artists right now,
yeah, not
where
like
shipping to and from galleries is very expensive and very difficult with all the tariffs and everything that like I just brought some work back, and I got dinged at the border, and it's not even worth fighting, like,
so mad.
but it happens all the time. So big shout out to PT there.
Yeah, and Anya,
Um,
Anya and Michael.
yeah. But I mean, seeing things in person is awesome too. Like, I guess you're not really close enough to Modern Eden to get out to see them, but
No, but I will be traveling down for the solo. Like
yeah.
I feel like people always ask me, or people who aren't in the kind of like group show cadence,
Mhm.
are always asking me like, "Oh, you go to all these shows?" I'm like, "No."
No.
Like I can't fly everywhere.
Just jet setting all over the
Yeah, yeah.
place.
I'm not Taylor Swift.
No. I don't think I've been to any of my shows. Like I haven't had like a solo in-person show though.
Mhm.
Um, but I don't think I've unless it's like actually in my town, I don't go too far away.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's awesome that you have that opportunity though to go and travel and see it in person. So send lots of pictures
Oh,
because
I
I'm
will.
gonna be watching online.
Oh, I will.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you, good people of the internet, for hanging out with us for 3 hours and
Mhm.
39 seconds. Um, this is a marathon, an art marathon. Yeah. So, anyways, I said all the things. Thank you, Morgan, for coming in, and thanks for joining us. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.